Wash over you. Redskins and Eagles. How about this atmosphere? They're ready.
Good. Yeah, it's pretty good. Got the Rocky theme song going.
2-0 meets 1-1. Off we go. Cody Parkey will kick it away with Andre Roberts waiting deep. In the words of the immortal Tone Loc, let's do it. Roberts from the end zone. He can't get to the 20. Almost lost a shoe. Malcolm Jenkins on the stop, and let's go down to Aaron Andrews.
Well, Joe, Washington didn't get the word about DeSean Jackson until this morning. It was head coach Jay Gruden that told me DeSean walked into his office and said, "I'm ready, put me in." Remember, he's been dealing with that sprained left shoulder. He did take a shot for it yesterday, been limited in practice all week. Gruden says, I don't know if he's going to be in pain. I don't know what kind of range of motion he's going to have, but it's Philly, baby. That's enough adrenaline for him.
You didn't think he was going to miss this one, did you, Joe?
No, I didn't. And it's never been this loud when he's been on the field in this stadium. Cousins has it. Garcon wide open and a first down. Pierre Garcon has got 18 yards and a first down, and a good, strong throw from Cousins to start his day.
Yeah, that's a nice way to start a ball game. He's gotten all the reps, as I said, coming into this week. Play action. Philadelphia Eagles expecting to open up the game with a run. A nice lane there to Pierre Garcon.
When they do run it, they've got Alfred Morris, who has been the record-setting running back for the Redskins since he came in 2012. He's 2 for 2. Cousins hits DeSean Jackson, and he gets hit with a wall of boos from fans here at Lincoln Financial Field. A gain of 6.
I like what Jay Gruden is doing here. It looks a lot like last week. You know, when Kirk Cousins came into the ball game early in that game last week against Jacksonville, completes his first 12 passes. Here he opens up this ball game, 2 completions.
2nd down and 4. First time on the ground. Alfred Morris is going to break free for a first down to the Philadelphia 49. A gain of 8. And we look at the impact players on offense for the Redskins. We look up front first with Lichtensteiger now at center for the Redskins. Alfred Morris, DeSean Jackson, and Pierre Garcon, who caught that first pass for 18 yards to start the day offensively for the Redskins. Back to Morris. And Morris ran into a couple. Fletcher Cox was there with Cedric Thornton, a gain of just 1. And now, Troy, we look at some of the impact players and guys to watch defensively. They say this Fletcher Cox is playing the best of anybody on this Philly defense.
Through the first 2 weeks, he has been an impact player, Joe. He gets pressure up the field. He's good against the run. We saw a shot there of Malcolm Jenkins, a free agent acquisition during the offseason. He has really helped stabilize that secondary.
Eagles come with a blitz. Redskins pick it up. Cousins has got a man, and that man is Jackson. He's got a first down at the 35. And now a flag is thrown as Jackson and the defensive back get into it. And the defensive back is Nate Allen. Teammates a year ago, and Jackson got up, spun the ball, and the Eagles didn't like it. Let's take another look at what transpired after the play.
Obviously a lot of...
Oh, he got up and just shoved him.
At the conclusion of the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 29, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, that's a bad call. I mean, Jackson got up and just shoved Nate Allen. He did get a hit maybe at the end from Jenkins, and it was Jenkins who he hit. Then Allen got involved, and they got Allen. Now they show it on the board here, and the fans don't like the call either.
Well, I don't like the call, but as players, Joe, you recognize that more times than not they catch the guy who retaliates. I mean, clearly DeSean Jackson gets up and he shoves Malcolm Jenkins, but Nate Allen's the one who gets called. That's a big penalty here on this opening drive.
And then he reached for that left shoulder, which he injured in the first quarter last week. Morris right side. Pretty well played defensively. Out there was Bradley Fletcher, a gain of 3.
Well, if you're going to face there comes another flag as well. Came in late there in the middle of the field.
Our referee today is Tony Correnti, and he and his crew have been one of the most active, let's say, crews this season in the NFL throwing flags.
At the conclusion of the play, after the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting number 88 on the offense. The down will count. It'll be 2nd down.
Anxious to see this and to see if this goes into the category of a makeup call, because the officials saw on the board here what happened after they initially threw that flag on Nate Allen. Mike Pereira's with us just audio-wise. And Mike, what are you seeing so far?
Well, I'm seeing they're trying to get some control here, but they can't miss what they missed that first action. You know, DeSean Jackson, that's the end of the play. That's where you're focused. You have to see that first shove and let the retaliation go. Really no excuse for missing that in my book.
Cousins now backed up on 2nd down. He is looking for the tight end Paulson. A flag is down again. Pass incomplete. 3rd and long coming up, but we'll check the marker.
Illegal use of the hands, hands of the face, defense number 91. 5-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
The big part of that is the automatic 1st down. Tony Correnti's crew, and Tony Correnti is tied for the 2nd most flags thrown so far this season, averaging 23.5 flags per game. And we've seen 3 straight on this drive by the Redskins to start the day.
Well, that last call on Fletcher Cox was the right call. We saw left guard Sean Laval's helmet come off, got the hand underneath the face mask. Easy one for them to see.
DeSean Jackson started the play in the backfield. Here's Garcon. He makes the catch and gets inside the 25. Picks up 3.
Pierre Garcon, who opened up the season, had a nice game week 1 against Houston. 10 receptions in that ball game, and then last week was relatively quiet. Just had 1 catch.
The opening drive. The big hands to the face call, which gave a fresh set of downs. Now 2nd and 7. Halou in the backfield. They fake it to him. Pass is for Paulson, and the tight end is just inches inside the 20. 3rd and short coming up.
We talked a little bit about it coming into this game, Joe, as far as Kirk Cousins and what he does well. And because RG3 is so athletic and he's able to make so many plays with his legs, then Kirk Cousins gets categorized as the pocket passer, and he certainly can do that, but so can RG3. But Kirk Cousins is a much better athlete than he gets credit for. In fact, he's probably at his best with a lot of the boots. They ran a lot of them last week. They've already run a couple of them here on this opening possession.
Third down and 3. Pass caught. 1st down at the 10. Andre Roberts made the catch. A gain of 10, and it's been a perfect start. 6 for 6 for Cousins.
They do a nice job up front. You got to block up the inside game when you're playing the Philadelphia Eagles. They like to bring those linebackers inside. You've got to be able to secure the inside gaps. But Andre Roberts, a nice pickup for this receiving corps. Just a real pro. I know they're excited to have him in Washington.
Got him from Arizona. Slot receiver. Here's Morris coming back, and he barrels down to just inside the 5.
That's that stretch play, Joe, that they ran so effectively with Mike Shanahan as the head coach. And this run game, the terminology, everything they're doing has remained the same. Their offensive coordinator, Sean McVay, was their tight ends coach under Shanahan. He's kept the terminology. Same offensive line coach. I think Jay Gruden did a nice job not asking everybody to relearn a new system. Their run game has been good under Shanahan. It's been good under Jay Gruden, too.
Out of the shotgun, pass is caught for the touchdown. Darrell Young. He's got back-to-back weeks with a touchdown, and the big fullback is good for a 4-yard score.
How about that? Darrell Young Came into the National Football League as a linebacker, and first of all, there's not a lot of these guys left. There's not many fullbacks on an NFL roster, but this guy plays a lot. You see they split him out, get the ball into his hands, fully capable of catching the ball. That's a great drive to open up this game on the road for the Redskins.
Bradley Fletcher could not keep Young out of the end zone. And it's 7-0. Kirk Cousins found 5 different receivers and goes 7 for 7 on the road in this, his 5th NFL start. RG3 is out. Kirk Cousins is in. So is Young. 7-0 Washington after their first possession. Darrell Young gets the touchdown. Impressive drive. Big penalty for hands to the face. Helped out Washington, and Kirk Cousins took advantage of it. And now Chris Polk will take it out of the end zone and have room. Gets around the kicker. Now foot race. Polk is going to go. No flags. Touchdown. Only guy was Adam Hayward, who had a chance to get to him, and Polk, who was inactive, Troy, with a bad hamstring in week 1, proves that he's healthy as he wins on a 102-yard kick return for a touchdown.
Well, middle return, couple good blocks. Trey Burton as well as Brad Smith there in the middle helped spring him, and that got this crowd back into the game.
Tie game for the Eagles, their first kick return touchdown since 2008 in November at Baltimore by Quentin Demps. Now at home in week 3, a smile on the face of Polk. Why not? Tied at 7.
This game is sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
It had been 88 games since the last Eagles kickoff return for a touchdown. Polk just delivered. 7-7 game, and Andre Roberts takes it out of the end zone, and this one is not as eventful. Trey Burton, a rookie tight end, downfield to make the stop. A return of just 13 yards and back to the touchdown.
2 big plays by the special teams right there, and then you've got Zach Ertz, who also makes a key block. And if you're going to have a return like this as a runner, Chris Polk has to make somebody miss. As you see the block that Zach Ertz made, there were a lot of good blocking on that play, and Chris Polk is able to make Brandon Merriweather miss, makes the kicker miss, takes it the distance, and then for the kickoff team to get down the field and pin Washington back inside the 15-yard line. That's great work by a special teams unit.
Third longest kick return in Eagles history, 102. Morris right side, nada. D'Amico Ryans was in there, but he was not alone. So this is a Philly defense that has D'Amico Ryans inside. They do not have Michael Kendricks, who is out with a strained right calf, and they are thin at inside linebacker. They lost Travis Long in the preseason. They lost Najee Good in week 1. Casey Matthews was the first guy in there last week when Kendricks got hurt. We'll see some of Emmanuel Acho. Thornton came across.
Boy, Thornton lined up right over the ball. Not much excuse for that one.
Defense, number 72. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Third defensive penalty against the Eagles here in this opening quarter. Foles going to need to warm up again. He hasn't been out there in forever.
Yeah, but he's not complaining.
Not after that long drive that was answered with a kick return by the Philadelphia Eagles. 102 yards for Chris Polk. Handoff is moves to Morris, a gain of 2. Third down coming up, Fletcher Cox.
You think back to last week's game with the Eagles and the Indianapolis Colts, and in the first half of that game, the Colts ran the ball extremely well. I know defensive coordinator Bill Davis was very upset with the performance of his run defense. Gave up over 100 yards there in that first half. They know they're going to get a heavy dose of Alfred Morris. I thought Washington did a good job in that first possession of mixing it up. Defense has stiffened up here a little bit against Alfred Morris on this drive.
Now it's Halou in the backfield as Cousins backpedals, finds his man, and he's got a first down. He's got Roberts again. He's gone to Roberts twice for a first down in this first quarter, a gain of 5.
Well, the Eagles like to play man coverage, but when you get an offense that bunches the receivers like Washington does, it's hard then to come up and play press. You get releases off the ball. They're able to do that with Roberts. Pretty easy pitch and catch right there.
Extra offensive lineman who is eligible is Tom Compton. He comes in, perfect start for Cousins. Gonna air it out. This is up for grabs. Jackson is downfield. There's contact, no flag with Fletcher on it.
Well, you're gonna try to take a shot down the field to DeSean Jackson. Great protection up front. That's not initially where Kirk Cousins was wanting to go with the football. You just can't get it out far enough to a guy that can run like DeSean Jackson. I think it's a good non-call, even though there was contact on the play. But the Eagles are going to load the box with an extra defender to try to stop this run. They constantly ask their corners to play single coverage on the outside. Redskins know they're going to have some opportunities for big plays. They tried one on the last play.
Second and 10. Cousins hangs in, finds the tight end Paul. And Niles Paul, who had a big week last week, gets 9. Here's Kurt with a game break.
Here's a look at the Packers and the Lions going at it. Big NFC North matchup in Detroit. A not good start for the Packers. Nick Fairley strips Eddie Lacy. It's scooped up by Don Kerry. 40 yards later, Detroit has a 7-0 lead. Joe, Troy, and Aaron.
Kurt, thanks. That's a Green Bay team that had to rally against the Jets at home last week. Down 18, ended up winning 31-24. They trail early there. Third down and 1. Cousins play action. Down the sideline, and pass is caught by Paul. And Niles Paul, who had his best day in the NFL last week with 8 catches for 99 yards and a touchdown, has 35.
They run a wheel route with Niles Paul. Just an outstanding job. Fletcher gets caught looking, thinking he's going to go to the flat. Instead, he turns it up the sideline, and what a perfect pass by Kirk Cousins, laying it beautifully into the arms of Niles Paul. He has been quite a player here for the last 2 weeks. Makes another big play here, but with Jordan Reed going down with the hamstring injury, they've needed him to make plays, and he has done that in each of the games that they've played.
Well, that graphic shows you exactly how different it's been for Paul. First down, here's Morris, and Alfred gets around Thornton. Can't do much with it. The Redskins are without tight end Jordan Reed, who is kind of that new age type tight end, 6'2", 237. As a player is down, looks like Lichtensteiger. They'll give a look at their center. We'll take a break and come back.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Pizza Hut's Bacon and Cheese Stuffed Crust, by AT&T, mobilizing your world, and by your next truck, Ford F-150.
Beautiful day in Philadelphia. Lichtensteiger got up, walked off. Looks like he's all right. But for the moment, they bring in Chester. He switches to center, and Josh Laribas takes over at right guard. Toss to Morris, ball out, recovered by Washington on second down. Garcon is there after it was knocked out by Brandon Graham out of the arms of Alfred Morris. Third down coming up, and Lichtensteiger right back in there.
So that ball shot out of there. Redskins fortunate to be able to recover that one and not lose possession. But yeah, you affect 2 positions with Lichtensteiger going out. It helps that he comes back in. Chris Chester moving then back to right guard.
Loss of 1, third down and 7. Washington's has Jackson. And DeSean Jackson with a catch on the sideline for a first down. Beautiful catch by the 6-year Philadelphia Eagle.
That's a good catch, but that's a heck of a throw by Kirk Cousins. That's good coverage right there. He put it the only place that DeSean Jackson could go up and make a play on it. Kirk Cousins is as impressive as he was last week. He's off to a heck of a start. He's put some balls right on the money.
Ball just outside the 15. Second time in the red zone. Redskins are 1 for 1 in there. And here is Morris setting up first and goal inside the 5. Nate Allen on the stop, and so far so good for this Washington offense.
Well, they overload. This is what gave the Eagles problems against Indianapolis. You see it right there. They put 2 tight ends to that side, and the Eagles just do not have an answer for it. Great job up front by the Redskins offensive line. And Alfred Morris is so patient as a runner. He'll keep the ball play side as he did there, waiting for the cutback lane. If it's not there, great movement. It was a nice game.
Already 11 first downs on 2 drives for the Redskins as Morris is bottled up and lost a yard. Benny Logan was in to make the stop. Keep showing Nick Foles on the sideline. He hasn't left over there, and he's over there with LaShawn McCoy, and everybody's tightening up over there.
Well, it's unsettling. You're not used to that as a quarterback. You're ready to play, you know, and he was prepared to take the field and hasn't yet been able to do it. But the Eagles were not good last week against the Colts in the red zone. They've already given up 1 touchdown. They need to tighten up here.
The Eagles actually won the toss, but they deferred. Pass caught. Touchdown, Garcon. And 2 for 2 inside the red zone is Washington. And that choice to defer has really set up this entire first quarter as the Redskins regain the lead.
Well, the Eagles bring some pressure. Kirk Cousins knows the ball has to come out right away. He retreats and he delivers a perfect strike. I mean, I've been impressed watching him. He knows exactly where to go with the football. You talk to guys within the organization. He's got a complete understanding of what Jay Gruden wants from him, and it's showing.
14-7. That's the first touchdown reception by a wide receiver for the Redskins this season. Old friends getting together. Old rivals getting together. Washington leads by 7. Washington has had it 2 times, 2 drives. First one 11 plays, 82 yards, 6 minutes, 18 seconds. The second one, the most recent, 12 plays, 87 yards, 6 minutes and 20 seconds. Both resulting in touchdowns, and here is Polk on the run from just inside the 5. And after a 102-yard return for a touchdown, this one good for 20. And a flag is down, and we will finally see the Eagles offense, which comes in number 1 in the NFL, both in yardage and in total points. Here's the call from Tony Correnti. It's an offside on the kickoff, and so will they tack on 5 or make them re-kick?
Offside, kicking team number 31. Philadelphia's exercised the option of taking a 5-yard penalty and re-kicking.
Why not? After the 102-yard return, maybe you find some more holes in that kickoff coverage team.
Yeah, I agree with the call. It's pretty taxing, too, on these kickoff coverage teams when you're talking about a dead sprint that far down the field to cover and then to make them do it right away. A lot of times you'll see pretty big returns when they have to go back and do it all over again.
Funny thing for Chris Polk, in his career, he's touched the ball 18 times. He's got 4 touchdowns. He just had that 102-yard return, and now he gets another crack at it. Now a squib kick. And it's picked up by one of the tight ends out across the 35, in good field position as James Casey has a 16-yard return, and we will finally see Nick Foles in the offense for the Eagles. They check in with 2:01 left, first quarter, down 7. The Eagles gained 8 yards of field position because of the re-kick, and now here we go. Nick Foles in this up-tempo offense. You've been waiting to jump out of your little suit there talking about these guys, and here we go. Down by 7. Foles keeps it, goes back across the middle of the field, and the tight end Casey makes the catch. That's his first catch. A flag is down. First catch of the season for Casey, a gain of 7. Eagles indicate it's against the Redskins.
Holding, defense, against the tight end. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So a first down for Philadelphia, and what are we going to see out of this offense for Philadelphia as we watch Kerrigan, a really good outside linebacker, grab Selleck on his way out.
Well, I like the things that Philadelphia does offensively, Joe. Chances for a lot of big plays down the field.
McCoy is good for 1.
And LaShawn McCoy and Darren Sproles, you know, you look at what's happened here in the first 2 weeks of this season for the Eagles. This team's 0-2 without those 2 players. Last week, the job that Sproles did on the screen game with a quarterback that was struggling was very impressive.
McCoy left side. He has been waiting to break loose. He led the league in rushing a year ago. He gets 9. It depends on the spot. It's a first down, and McCoy is slow to get up. He got hit by Emerson, the second-year corner. And McCoy immediately took the helmet off. We'll see where the hit was actually delivered. And it looked like helmet to helmet. Take a break and come back. LaShawn McCoy, who is the most dynamic player in the NFL with what he can do, got a helmet-to-helmet hit from the second-year corner David Emerson. He just got up and jogged off. They'll check him out on the sideline. First down. Here's Foles. He finds a receiver, and it's the rookie, Jordan Matthews. We go back to the hit from Emerson.
You can see David Emerson, he was being blocked, but he comes off of it, and LaShawn McCoy just wasn't quite prepared. But a helmet-to-helmet collision was a big-time collision between the two of them. He took his helmet off, did not look good. It'll be interesting to see if he's able to come back in this ball game. A big loss if he's unable to, even as good as Sproles has been.
2nd and 6. Foles gets away from 1 and now floats it out of bounds. Good job by Nick Foles to avoid the sack. And it was Kerrigan who had 4 sacks among the 10 by this Redskins defense last week that had the pressure.
Yeah, and they even put a tight end over there, Zach Ertz, to try to help slow him down, and he's unable to, and he's off to a great start. You talk about the week that he had last week and all those sacks, and they were going up against a team that just wasn't very good up front in Jacksonville, but a good start again this week by Ryan Kerrigan.
3rd down and 6. Foles steps up, going to try and run to pick it up, and he's got it. First down as we end the first quarter. A 9-yard run, and that's the long for Nick Foles, number 9 this season. And that'll do it for the first quarter here in Philadelphia. As the Eagles now, first time with their offense on the field. McCoy is trying to talk his way back in. Philly driving, down 7. Back after this from your local Fox station. Well, no real mystery here. LaShawn McCoy is going to go in and get looked at. We had some interesting shots going to break and even more during the break. As McCoy now will go through that protocol to try to get back on the field and prove that he does not have a concussion. Here's Sproles for 3. He's saying I'm okay, and then look at this, trying to get his helmet. Member of the training staff, the equipment staff, keeping it away from him, and then they made him go into the locker room. Here's Sproles. Flag is down, and so is Sproles inside the 15. The ball comes out. This is a live play. D'Angelo Hall on the return, and he is across the 25. It was knocked out by Breland. It's a fumble by Sproles, and if this call is against the Eagles, the fumble will stand.
I think they're going to get the Eagles for holding.
Holding, offense, number 62. This penalty is declined. The result of the play is first down.
They'll look at it because it's a turnover. D'Angelo Hall came away with it, and let's see. And And there's the work by Bashaud Breeland, a rookie out of Clemson. He ripped it out, clearly a fumble, and Hall was there to pick it up.
That was an excellent job of finishing the play by Breeland. A heck of a hole. Of course, they get Jason Kelsey on the hold themselves, so it wasn't going to count, but put the ball on the ground. The Eagles moving the ball in their first possession. They shoot themselves in the foot.
So now first down at their own 28, up by 7. Cousins has started 12 out of 13. He hands to Morris. And Morris picks up 5.
Well, the Eagles defensively, based on the way this game has started and being unable to stop Washington on their first 2 possessions, they go right down the field, and at least they got a little bit of a break with the offense on the field to get rested up. But it makes the 3rd week in a row that this defense has had some problems. This is a big possession for this Eagles team.
An Eagles team that's been outscored in the first half so far this season, 48-13. All that room closed down for a moment for Morris, as Emmanuel Acho was the first guy there, a gain of 4. And we remind you, this October, history will be made as baseball's postseason moves to America's new sports network, Fox Sports 1. Is your new home for baseball's National League Division and Championship Series. And it all begins on October 3rd.
Well, the Eagles have been so good on 3rd down through the first 2 weeks. They have yet to stop Washington.
It's Cousins keeping it, and now Washington even today, Troy, 5 for 5 on 3rd down.
Yeah, and one of the big reasons is, like what we just saw, a lot of 3rd and shorts is what they've had. They haven't had any real length to any of their 3rd down calls, and this defense has got to find a way to be better on 1st and 2nd down and get off the field.
First down at the 40. Quick setup and throw, and it's DeSean Jackson to his former bench. Good for 7. Let's go for a game break. Here's Joel Klatt.
All right, thanks, Joe. Let's go to St. Louis. Austin Davis. Good pocket there. Who's going to find Brian Quick? 51-yard touchdown. And the Rams all over the boys early. It's 14-0 in St. Louis. Joe, Troy, and Aaron.
Austin Davis, who was a winner last week at Tampa Bay, 3rd-string quarterback at the start of the year, taking over that spot. Here's Morris left side on 2nd down, and he gets nothing.
You look at Philadelphia, Joe, and the way that Washington has been able to run the ball, they bring in the extra defender, and that then allows the single coverage on the outside. It's what Bill Davis wants from these guys. We've seen DeSean Jackson have some easy releases off the ball and catch that quick out route. As they start to crowd that play a little bit, DeSean Jackson, expect him to take a shot here real soon down the field against some of those looks. I don't think it'll happen here with 3rd and short, 3rd and 3, but it's going to happen real soon.
Timeout taken by Washington. And we will step aside 3rd down and 3 when we come back. For Washington up 7.
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by The Judge from Warner Brothers Pictures. In theaters October 10th. By DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And by Chevrolet. Find new roads.
3rd down and 3. After the timeout by Washington. Pass is caught, and that's a first down. Garcon, who has a touchdown. He's got a 4-yard gain, a fresh set, still only 1 incompletion for Cousins so far on the day. LeSean McCoy is back out onto the field, and DeSean Jackson probably making the stomach of Chuck Bednarik, 89-year-old, watching in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, turn as he's watching that in-game going on with DeSean Jackson and his Former teammate. Second incompletion. Garcon too high.
Yeah, that was his second incompletion and maybe the easiest throw that he's had here today. He's got a clean pocket and a clean lane to deliver it. It just got away from him. A little bit high, but he is off to one heck of a start here in this ball game.
So the question has to be asked of you, Hall of Fame quarterback, about Cousins fitting into this offense, coordinated by and called by Jay Gruden, better than Robert Griffin III, who was injured with a dislocated ankle last week. We'll get to that after a 2nd and 10. Pass is caught, spinning catch, first down. And it is Roberts with the catch, and they're going to give a fresh set. I mean, Cousins just seems to fit what Gruden does.
Well, I think that when you look at a quarterback like RG3, he's able to improvise and do so much that he doesn't always just stick to the reads because he doesn't have to. You know, that's the way that you come along as a quarterback, whereas someone like Kirk Cousins, even though he is athletic, he has to rely a little bit more on his ability to throw the ball. Robert Griffin is certainly capable of throwing the ball from within the pocket. We have seen that. But Jay Gruden hasn't worked with quarterbacks like that. Think about Andy Dalton. Think about his time with his brother there in Tampa Bay. Those are all pocket guys, so it's been an adjustment for him to work with some of the skills of an RG3
offense,
also.
Number 66. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
But Joe, there's no question when you talk to Jay Gruden, you listen to his comments throughout the week, complete confidence in Kirk Cousins. You almost got the feeling that he was really excited about this opportunity to see what Kirk Cousins was all about. And when he's had his chances, for the most part, he's been pretty good. Last year, when he came in the last 3 weeks, it was up and down. It was an entirely different situation because they were losing. But I thought he was really good off the bench as a rookie.
Here is Morris, who we saw limp off earlier. Right side, first guy there was Malcolm Jenkins, a gain of 2. I mean, you brought up the name of Andy Dalton, 3 years as the offensive coordinator there in Cincinnati, and Dalton took the Bengals to the playoffs every year, and a lot of people want to compare Dalton and Kirk Cousins, and some believe Cousins might eventually be better than Andy Dalton if given the opportunity to play, to practice with the ones, and get a chance to show what he can do.
Well, Kirk Cousins doesn't lack confidence either. I can guarantee you that.
2nd and 13. Cousins has Garcon. And Pierre makes a move on the sideline and gets closer to the first down. He's short by 2. And now Alfred Morris is going to limp off again. A gain of 11 on that completion to Pierre Garcon.
Kirk Cousins hangs in there, takes a shot at the very end of the play, and then he falls in to Alfred Morris, and that's when Morris gets injured. Joe, I'll follow up on that. A lot of speculation as to what happens to RG3 when he's healthy. First of all, we don't know when that will be. If that's a point of contention when he is healthy, then Kirk Cousins should be the starter, because that means that the team's playing well and he's been playing well.
3rd down and 2. And incomplete off the right hand of Pierre Garcon. It made a move, and now kind of in that in-between area. The field goal unit will come on, and that's the first 3rd down stop by the Eagles defense in this first half.
Yeah, finally they're able to get off the field, you know, more because of a errant throw than anything that the Eagles were able to do. But you know, right now, if the Redskins are unable to get this through the uprights, then the Eagles will, at least they'll get good field position coming back the other way.
49-yard try. Forback has been battling a bad groin, but you wouldn't know it with that. And it's a 17-7 game. Impressive start to this game for the Redskins on the road. Forback good from 49, and the lead is 10. They are working on a couple of knees over on the Washington bench. That's the right knee of DeSean Jackson, the left knee and leg was bothering Alfred Morris after Cousins was shoved back into him a moment ago. Kickoff will go out of the back of the end zone, and with 8:49 left in the first half, we'll talk about what we've seen. And what we've seen is a Washington team coming off a dominant performance at home look really good here on the road at Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's been impressive. You know, Kirk Cousins has come out and played very well. The Eagles offensively haven't had a lot of opportunities, but it's the same old story really for this Eagles defense through the first 2.5 weeks, and that's been their inability to stop people in the first half, and now they find themselves in another deficit trying to climb their way out of it.
Sean McCoy good to go after getting that hit to the head. Both McCoy and Sproles out there. Here's Macklin. And Macklin to the sideline. In a race. Gets a block. They're going to throw a flag for the block. The touchdown will not count. Jason Kelce all the way downfield is flagged for a block. And I'm not sure he had to throw it.
Illegal block in the back. Offense, number 62. 10-yard penalty, first down.
So it takes an 80-yard touchdown away. Here's 62 downfield.
You know, he thought that he got in to the side. I agree with the call, Joe, and Jason Kelce's going to look at this and realize that he really probably didn't need to do anything. First of all, look at the guy go. I mean, he's a center. You see how well he runs, but I don't think anybody was going to be able to get to Jeremy Macklin. That's a costly penalty on Jason Kelce.
False start. Offense, number 66. 5-yard penalty remains, first down.
Here's the penalty again against Kelce, who was a running back and a linebacker in high school and actually went to college to play linebacker at Cincinnati. He can run.
He can run, boy. That's impressive right there. You see why they're so good in the screen game with guys like him that can move like that. But just, I think it was the right call.
5 Eagles penalties. That was a big one. Took points off the board. Here's McCoy, good for 2. Brought down by Keenan Robinson, who's one of the 2 good active inside linebackers, very athletic. Robinson and Perry Riley for Washington.
Joe, we had a chance to sit down with Jason Kelce on Friday, and what an impressive guy he is, and what a find for the Eagles to get him in the 6th round.
Wide receiver screen, and it's well played. Riley was out there. He wasn't alone. Perry made the tackle. D'Angelo Hall held his ground. Macklin gets just 2, and it's 3rd down and 11.
Yeah, big 3rd down here for this Philadelphia team, and pretty nice as a quarterback when you're able to throw some of these quick screens and screens to your running back, the wide receiver screens, and have them pick up some of the yards that we've seen, not just this year, last year too.
Foles has Cooper, and Riley Cooper's got it with a 1st down for the Redskins at the 20.
Well, Nick Foles knew what he had on the outside. This is an excellent job by Riley Cooper on the route. You see the move at the top got Emerson turned, and as soon as his hips were turned, he was beat. Then it was just a matter of whether or not the ball was going to get there in time.
21 yards on 3rd and 11, and now a challenge flag thrown by the Washington sideline as they're challenging that Cooper did not get both feet down before going out of bounds. It looked like he did. Catch, right foot, left foot, he's in. As he secures it going to the ground, this is going to cost Washington a timeout.
Challenging the ruling on the field of a completed pass.
Right foot, left foot, clearly in.
Yeah, that's going to be a catch. Again, just an outstanding job by Riley Cooper getting open for his quarterback.
21 yards on 3rd and 11. Get the call when we come back.
Is sponsored by McDonald's, official sponsor of the NFL. I'm loving it.
Redskins challenge, and Jay Gruden got some bad info from upstairs.
He's going to lose this challenge.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed that the completed pass will be Philadelphia's ball, 1st down. Washington, having lost the challenge, will be charged with their 2nd timeout.
So 1 timeout left, 1 challenge left for the Redskins for the rest of the game. And 1st down for the Eagles after having the touchdown. The 80-yarder called back because of penalty. Macklin taking it from the 20 into the end zone, but now here they are, 1st and 10. The Washington 20. It's McCoy left side, and he doesn't get much. Stepped out of bounds with a gain of about half a yard.
You know, LeSean McCoy talked this week about how he expects more from himself, you know, through those first 2 ball games. I watched both of those games, Joe, and I mean, he's a pretty special player, and I didn't see anything that he could have done differently. I mean, he makes people miss, and even when there's nothing there, he seems to get something out of it. He's a special player, but as Chip Kelly said, he's harder on himself than anybody. He expects perfection.
Little shoulder fake from Foles. Now out to his left. He's got his man. And that's Ertz. And Zach Ertz, who's been a big play receiver, a downfield threat, is good for 10 and a first down.
Yeah, Ertz is off to a good start this year as well in his sophomore season. And Foles sees him right away. He knows that he's got a chance to get him the ball in the middle. But because he had to slide in the pocket, he was a little late. But he's able to continue to allow Ertz to work to the sideline. That's a nice completion.
First and goal from the 9. McCoy running to his right. It's time to talk about this Redskins defense. People want to dismiss what they did last week because it was against a very bad Jacksonville team. But they are much improved from a year ago, and Jim Haslett likes what he's got.
Yeah, they are much improved, Joe, and I agree that Jacksonville just didn't put up much of a fight really on either side of the ball, but you know, pretty much the same guys too that Hazlett's been working with the exception of Jason Hatcher, which is a great acquisition, as well as Ryan Clark at safety.
Foles, end zone wide open, the rookie, touchdown Jordan Matthews. And he'll keep it. That's his first. Foles is going to grab it for him. An 11-yard touchdown to Jordan Matthews.
Watch Perry Riley right here, and then you've got the rookie going up the seam, and Perry Riley is looking in the backfield, and he gets caught looking too long, and that allows Matthews then to just run in behind him. Pretty easy completion for a touchdown.
Second round pick out of Vanderbilt. He's got his first in the NFL, and this is a good one. Washington and Philadelphia, 3-point Washington lead. Foles finds Matthews, and the rookie's got his first in the NFL to make it a 3-point game. Philadelphia Eagles came in leading the NFL in offense, both in total yards and total points. They get their first offensive touchdown of the day. The other came on special teams. 3-point game. Roberts will keep it in the end zone. Some shows have buzz, and then there's Gotham. Critics have been raving about it all summer long, and tomorrow it's finally here. See how the legendary characters began. Don't miss the Gotham series premiere tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, right here on Fox. Dominating time of possession, but it's just a 3-point game, and Kirk Cousins 16 of 19 back to work. Pass is in the direction of Jackson, knocked away by Bradley Fletcher. Fletcher makes the play. How about what was going on at Michigan State? In 2007, Michigan State quarterbacks had a junior named Brian Hoyer. He now plays for Cleveland. Freshman named Nick Foles and Kirk Cousins. Foles transferred to Arizona the following year. Cousins was a record-setting quarterback for the Spartans between 2009 and 2011.
Kirk told us yesterday that he committed first, then Nick Foles was a celebrated quarterback from Texas, and he signed. He wasn't real sure that he would be able to beat him out.
Sideline, and wow, what a catch. But was he in bounds? He was, and that's Garcon. How did he catch it? What a throw from Kirk Cousins.
I tell you, that's a dangerous throw by Cousins, and you better throw the perfect ball to fit that in. You've got a rolled up corner with help from the safety over the top. There's a little bit of a hole there along that sideline, but you've got to be perfect with the football, and Cousins sees the safety working over the top, puts it on the back shoulder. That's a great throw and a great catch.
Arizona's had a huge first half.
Huge first half after not really doing much last week. And Kirk Cousins, he's got a lot of confidence in that arm.
6 catches for 64 yards. Here's Paul. And just an emergency throw from Cousins picks up 6. Let's go back to that catch by Garcon on the sideline.
Yeah, that's pretty remarkable. And the job that he does of turning his body, Joe, to really shield the defender and allow himself to be able to go up then and make a play, that's great body control.
Cousins has spread it around. You think about the King's ransom the Redskins paid the Rams for the opportunity to draft RG3 2nd overall back in 2012. And the guy Washington got 100 picks later at 102 is on fire. Paulson makes the catch. And Paulson is knocked down right at the marker by Nate Allen. And no signal yet. He's going to be just inches shy. 3rd and inch is coming up.
You look at this game, Joe, in the first half, the Redskins have really dominated the half. And yet they've only got a 3-point lead. That's what happens when you give up a kickoff return for a touchdown. But the Redskins offensively, right now, almost at 300 yards of total offense. That's unbelievable.
Handoff is to the fullback, Darrell Young. And Darrell, who has a touchdown catch for a 2nd consecutive week, has 2 yards and a first down. Really a well-called game by Jay Gruden.
Well, Jay, you know, I talked to a lot of the offensive players, and they really like what they're doing offensively. As I said earlier, the run game was already good under Mike Shanahan, and they've continued to do that. Now within the passing game, Kirk Cousins has complete confidence as to where he's supposed to go with the ball based on what Jay Gruden is calling, and he just does an excellent job. He doesn't put it in harm's way. He's been really good.
Cousins at 83%, and now he tries to gun it into Niles Paul, and it's broken up by Nate Allen. But that was the fastball from Kirk Cousins, and he got it there in a blink.
Yeah, but you watch this, Joe. This maybe to some may look like an errant throw, but watch the safety here. He sees that the safety's going to drive on this dig route. He can't lead him because there's a chance that ball's intercepted by Nate Allen. He puts it on his back shoulder. That's perfect ball placement right there to give only your guy an opportunity to make a play, and he should have caught the ball.
Ball just dropped it. What a throw. 2nd and 10. Handoff is to Morris. And Alfred Morris is going to fight his way inside the 40. Bring up 3rd and short.
I know these Eagles are in great shape. You know, when you hear about what all they go through during the week and heart rate monitors and everything that they're checking, but these guys are going to need a little rest when they get in there at halftime. You can tell right now watching them, they're gassed. They've been on the field a long time, and part of that is they've got to get off the field on their own. They did it once, but outside of that one possession, they've just not been able to.
Time of possession over 20 minutes for Washington compared to 6 minutes for the Eagles. 3rd down and 3. Pass is broken up. Fletcher's going to get a flag thrown against him as he was on the back of Andre Roberts.
Well, he's got within 5 yards, which he clearly is there, but then when the ball is in the air, he's on his back.
Defense number 24 grabbing the jersey. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And Roberts came out of that break, a little handful of the jersey by Fletcher. And another first down by penalty against Chip Kelly's defense. Fletcher's already made 9 tackles in this game. With 2:24 left and only 1 timeout remaining because of a bad challenge, the Redskins are leading by 3 and have a first down at the Philly 34.
What's up?
Running right is Morris. He bangs into Fletcher at the end of it and picks up 6.
Well, that's what Alfred Morris does so well. We saw him keep it to the play side earlier in the first quarter, but seeing that cutback lane, he's extremely patient. He's powerful. Watch him as he comes off the ball and how he gets back into that hole that is created within that zone blocking scheme. That's an excellent job.
Not bad for a 6th-round pick out of Florida Atlantic, and a guy who in franchise history became the quickest to 3,000 rushing yards. Did it in his 34th game. Accomplished that last week. John Riggins had been the previous record holder. It took him 38.
How about this, Joe? 311 yards by the Washington Redskins here in this first half.
Tyler Columbus, the right tackle, is down, and they're looking at the legs of Columbus. And we'll take a look at what happened.
Usually what happens on these guys is they get rolled up at the end of these plays, and that's what happens to him, whether it's a knee or an ankle. He's walking off, so that's a good sign.
Two minutes and 16 seconds left. They will wind the clock as a substitute comes in. Tom Compton out at right tackle. Again, only one timeout remaining. The Redskins are not going to call a play, and we'll be at the 2-minute warning. It'll be 2nd down on the other side of it. Washington with a timeout remaining, leading by 3 on the road in Philadelphia in this battle, the NFC East. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. 2nd down and 4 as they were checking out the right knee, it turns out, of Tyler Columbus. He's out. Compton is in at right tackle. Hand off to Morris. 2 yards shy of a 1st down. Troy, the Redskins are 7 for 8 on 3rd down, but they have not had more than a 3rd and 6. They've all been 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3.
Yeah, so to change that up, they've got to be better. The Eagles do on 1st and 2nd down. And what it also tells you is the Redskins are just being very efficient. They're not taking negative plays. They're doing a good job completing the high percentage passes when they've thrown the ball on early downs, and then they're converting on these 3rd and shorts.
Columbus back in there at right tackle on 3rd down. Pass is incomplete for Garcon with Fletcher on him. And it looks like the Redskins will take the points with 4th down and little more than a yard to go.
That's a good job by Fletcher getting in there and being able to make a play. It looked like if Garcon had been able to stay on the move, he might have been able to pick that up. But another well-thrown ball low and away, giving only Garcon a chance to come down with the catch and pick up the 1st down.
Forbath hit from 49 and now kicking from 44 yards out. He is perfect. 6-point game. If you want to know what's coming up at the half, we can find out. Here's Kurt.
Coming up on the Visa halftime, Brian Hoyer and the Browns looking to keep the magic going against the Ravens. The Bolts battle the Bills in Buffalo, and Eli Manning and the Giants look for their first win of the season. It's all coming up on the Visa halftime.
Very suave by Kurt Menefee. With 1:15 to go, Philadelphia will get it back, and they have an opportunity here as they're in this game mainly because of big plays. The kickoff return for the touchdown by Chris Polk of over 100 yards, 102, and the 50-yarder to Jeremy Maclin. And the Eagles will get it with 3 timeouts left, down by just 6.
Joe, I'm looking over here at my stats monitor. It said 311 a moment ago as to how many total yards. Now it's 250. I don't know what exactly they've had here in this first half of total yards, but it's been impressive the way that they've been able to move the ball.
They're halfway to 500. That's good enough.
It's pretty good. Pretty good output.
Polk waiting for another. He'll get a chance again from just outside his own end zone. Room. Chased down from behind, but a good return. Trenton Robinson after a 35-yard return. And good field position to start this drive for the Eagles.
Yeah, real good field position, 3 timeouts, and it doesn't really even matter much about those because this is a big play offense. They're capable of scoring a lot of points in a short period of time, and a minute and 8 seconds for this offense is an eternity.
Everything is up tempo. Even in practice, they don't huddle. Here's one for Matthews, who has a touchdown in this game. Good for 7 to start this drive.
Of course, we saw him with the touchdown reception a little bit earlier, and a big receiver, and Chip Kelly's talked about those are the kinds of receivers that he likes. He says that's the reason DeSean Jackson's not here. I think there's more to it than that.
Foles going to step up and run, pick up a first down with under a minute to go.
Well, they want to play fast. A little surprised that they didn't burn a timeout with that run there with Foles.
Riley Cooper taking a long time to get back. Here's Hurts. They're going to keep the clock running, and Philadelphia's going to have to take a timeout. And they do. 5-yard completion to Ertz. They have 2 timeouts left. We look back. DeSean Jackson got a penalty for that action called against Philadelphia. Darrell Young, the first touchdown of the game. And a 102-yard kick return by Chris Polk. Then it was Garcon, second touchdown for Washington. Jordan Matthews, the rookie for Philadelphia, has a souvenir. A couple of field goals later, and it's a 6-point game with 39 seconds to go. Foles throws, pass, caught. Matthews a first down and out of bounds.
We've talked a lot about Kirk Cousins delivering some strikes here in this first half. That's an outstanding job by Nick Foles of rolling to his left, and this ball had to be in perfect placement as well in order for Matthews to be able to make that catch, and he was able to get out of bounds.
Foles airing it out, nobody there. Matthews closest to it. So 2nd and 10. Nick Foles, a big-bodied quarterback, 6'6", 243. You wouldn't think of him as the prototypical quarterback in a Chip Kelly offense, but he gets it done.
Well, he gets it done, and really you don't have to have a running quarterback in this offense, as we have seen, just somebody who can help keep a defense honest.
Be a 57-yard field goal from here. Forget that. Pass is caught inside the 20. That's Macklin. And a timeout will be taken by Chip Kelly with 20 seconds to go. A 26-yarder to Jeremy Macklin.
Pretty impressive of getting through his reads. Nick Foles in the pocket. He has time, and so he's able to get all the way back to Macklin there on the reception. That's a good job of getting it down the field in a short period of time. This is an outstanding drive by Philadelphia, putting themselves in a position to come away with points here before the end of the first half.
Crowd was reacting. They saw the replay, wanted a horse collar tackle, but tackle was made going forward, not pulling Macklin backward. No call, and now a first down inside the 15 with 20 seconds to go. Foles has Sproles, and he gets popped.
Not a good decision there by Foles. He really had nothing, and so you keep the clock going. And having to use a timeout to stop it, he would have been better off just throwing that one in the ground.
A gain of just 2. So that really was a bad decision. And here's the hit that's made helmet to helmet by Keenan Robinson on Darren Sproles. And here's the non-call on the horse collar as Hall gets the left hand in there, starts to pull him back, but then they go forward, and there was no call.
Okay, now Nick Foles, he needs to be real careful what he does with the ball here in terms of throwing it in the middle of the field. If it's not in the end zone, he's unable to stop the clock. It would be difficult for them to be able to get on the ball and clock it and to be able to get their field goal team on the field.
Mike Pereira agrees back in LA that was not a horse collar. Good no call. Pass end zone. There he touchdown.
Well, it's the exact same route that he ran earlier for the touchdown on the seam route. Perry Riley this time doesn't have to worry about any play action. And he's in position, but a perfectly thrown pass by Nick Foles, just unable to get his hand up enough to deflect that one. That's a great job by the rookie Matthews. Once again, knowing where he is on the back line, dragging his foot, maintaining the catch through the ground.
Boy, is that a good look at how good that throw was right there.
Both these quarterbacks doing a nice job.
And after all that, barring something completely unexpected, the Eagles are going to have a halftime lead.
Well, the big difference in this first half was the kickoff return by Chris Polk. You know, special team steps in, does a nice job, and then the defense for the Redskins unable to make a stop here to end this half. So the Redskins, who really played so well throughout this first half, to give up this touchdown now, momentum has shifted. The Eagles have got to feel awfully good about having the lead for as poorly as they played, at least on the defensive side of the ball.
Jordan Matthews has made people across this country race to their laptop to try and pick him up for their fantasy team.
I picked him up just moments ago.
Multitasking.
Well, they really like him, Joe. Second-round pick out of Vanderbilt, and you know, he does give the quarterback. He was drafted, even though he played outside and inside at Vanderbilt, he was drafted to be the slot receiver, and he does give the quarterback a nice target. When you're able to get down in the red zone and put the ball in areas where only a taller receiver can make a play, and he's made two nice catches now in this half.
The Redskins with almost a 16-minute time of possession advantage in the first half. Washington has run 21 more plays than Philadelphia. But with one snap to go, the Eagles are going to have a halftime lead by a point as the two teams start to shove. They're really young on that short return. Thankfully, nothing breaks out of that pileup. DeSean Jackson, who was let go. One of the more interesting cuts that's happened in this league in a long time. He's just 27 years old. Chip Kelly saying we wanted to get bigger at receiver. A guy who in his 6 years in Philadelphia is 7th franchise history in catches, 4th in receiving yards. Scored 4 punt return touchdowns, which is the most in franchise history, 3-time Pro Bowler. But he and the Washington Redskins are on the short end of a 21-20 halftime game. And the Eagles, who came in having scored a total of 6 points in the first half in their first 2 games while allowing 34, relying on big second halves to win their first 2 games, have their first halftime lead. Visa halftime is coming up, 21-20. Take it away, Kurt. Half here in Philadelphia. The Eagles lead by 1, 21-20. Our Nissan performance that excites, stat of the half. And it's Nick Foles. We didn't see a lot of him because of the way the game unfolded, but 12 out of 14. And we're going to see him right at the start of the second half, and he and the offense will start at the 20. Let's go down to the field and Aaron Andrews.
Jay Gruden told me that the reason why this offense has been so efficient is a good mix of calls out there. Also very positive first downs. He said the one thing he would stress in the locker room to Kirk Cousins, you have to stay patient here in the second half. And that's good news because Chip Kelly just told me they are really going to try to get after him here. They have to pressure him and they have to start tackling better on defense.
All right, Aaron. So do the Eagles start this season 3-0? The Redskins start this season 2-1. Next 30 minutes will determine that as Foles starts this second half in the shotgun. Keeps it. Finds a wide open Maclin. A defensive coverage bust, and Jeremy Maclin is across the 35, good for 16.
Well, they fake the reverse in the backfield, and then they just completely turn Jeremy Maclin loose. They got 2 guys running with 1. It leaves Maclin uncovered. Nick Foles does a good job of locating him.
Here's McCoy. Troy, I know when you watch tape of this Philadelphia offense, you marvel at how Chip Kelly and this offense is able to get guys wide open running down the field.
I've just never seen anything like it consistently, you know, both weeks and then again here today. And I think the scheme is outstanding. We've talked about it before. When he came from Oregon, everyone questioned whether or not it would be successful, and people have been watching the Eagles tapes a lot here the last couple of years trying to see how he's doing it.
McCoy trying to bounce it, lost the ball. And the ball ends up out of bounds, knocked out by D'Angelo Hall. It's remarkable to think that it was 8 years ago that Chip Kelly was the offensive coordinator at New Hampshire, and what his career has done going to Oregon as the coordinator, as the head coach, now Philadelphia, and he is a trendsetter now in the NFL. Jason Kelce is down. Now look at him. We'll take a break. South 9th Street Italian Market, billed as America's oldest outdoor market. Pretty much anything you want, you can get down there. This city filled with a lot of great people, and a look at some of the culture around this town. It's 3rd down and 11. Both Sproles and McCoy in the lineup. Penalty flag flies as Nick Foles is swallowed up. Ryan Kerrigan was in there, and this offensive line is getting awfully thin. They lost Jason Kelce a moment ago. They're already without Evan Mathis and Lane Johnson, their starting right tackle.
Against both teams that will offset. Holding, defense number 52. Holding, offense number 79. By rule, these penalties will offset. Replay, 3rd down.
They're looking at Jason Kelce. We looked at the replay a number of times. It's hard to see exactly what happened to him as they check him on the massage table down on the sideline.
Well, that's a big blow to this offensive line when you lose your starting center. That's the guy who makes the calls. He gets people going in the right direction on protections. He's a heck of a player as well.
Now David Molk takes over. 3rd down and 11. Pass downfield and off the left hand of Matthews, but a flag. E.J. Biggers was down there. Matthews draws the call, and he almost drew in a one-handed catch.
Yeah, I think Nick Foles saw that there was pretty good coverage, but he's going to give his guy an opportunity to make a play. There's a grab there with the left hand by E.J. Biggers.
Pass interference. Defense number 30 grabbed the receiver's arm. Automatic 1st down.
On Jordan Matthews, and you know, Foles initially wasn't going to go to him, but sees that he's got a shot. It's 3rd and long, and they get the penalty, and it was the right call.
40-yard penalty on 3rd down and 11, and a good call. Foles keeps it. Cooper, who started the play on the other side of the field, makes a nice move. And Riley Cooper good for 7. Went around Brandon Merriweather on his way to the sideline.
Well, we saw this play to open up this possession when they ran Riley Cooper on the reverse, and then they uncovered Jeremy Maclin, and he was wide open then in the middle. They come right back to it this time, and that's what Chip Kelly does so well, setting up these defenses. And he'll give you a look, and you'll think that it's just a window dressing. They're not going to throw him the ball, and then they come right back and they give it to him.
Foles keeps it. He has it tipped. Merriweather got his hand on it, trying to get it to Cooper. So you lose Jason Kelce, and you touched on it. When you've got an up-tempo offense with the offensive line calls centered around the center, that's the guy who's making the protection calls. It really puts a lot now on David Molk, the young free agent that they brought in here.
A lot. Molk stepped in week 1 at left guard when they had the injury there to Evan Mathis, but that's a big loss with Jason Kelce as we see him walking in the locker room.
3rd down and 3. This is Matthews. Got a long way to go, and he's tripped up in the backfield by Biggers. So Biggers had the pass interference call. Now makes the play on 3rd down, a loss of 2. It's 4th down.
Well, good job then defensively getting the stop on 3rd down, but the Eagles once again, after going down the field to end the first half with a touchdown, to open up with the possession here in the second half and to put together a good drive and give themselves an opportunity to open this half with 3 points. That's good work.
Cody Parkey has started his NFL career 5 for 6. Hit from 38, and he has drilled this one. So he's only missed once in the NFL. And it's a 4-point lead for the Eagles. The Eagles have scored on their last 3 possessions. And to start the second half, they put together a 7-play, 60-yard drive to make it a 4-point game. Parkey kicks it away with Roberts waiting for it. The drive will start at the 20. And we will welcome you inside our broadcast booth. Joe, that's Troy, and now we'll see Cousins coming out after halftime. He was so good in that first half.
Both these quarterbacks were good in the first half, and Kirk Cousins picked up where he left off last week. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the Eagles now do defensively with Bill Davis. We know that the last couple of weeks they've made adjustments. They've been really good, at least much better defensively. We'll see if they make the adjustments here in this half to be able to slow down this Redskins offense.
Cousins wide open. Pass is caught. 1 missed tackle. It's Garcon good for 7, and we go down to Aaron Andrews.
Joe, news not good for the Eagles offensive line. Jason Kelce is done for the day. The Eagles are saying he suffered an injury to his abdomen, and to make matters worse, Jason Peters is being attended to by athletic trainers and doctors right now. I'll let you know if I hear anything.
Well, you've got Peters, who last year was a first-team All-Pro, a 6-time Pro Bowler. He's getting attention. Kelce's out. Evan Mathis is injured. Lane Johnson suspended. This off the hands of Niles Paul and incomplete. Good coverage by Jenkins.
Well, you think about it, Joe, and depending on now what the status is going forward with Jason Peters, I mean, Todd Harriman's, their right guard, could be the only guy left standing from the group that started week 1. A significant blow beginning in week 1 to this offensive line, but now to have what happened here in this game. If anybody can do it, though, that guy right there can, as far as trying to get the ball out quick and protect that offensive line as best you can, but they got to have some bodies up there.
3rd down and 3. Cousins out of the reach of DeSean Jackson. And it's 3 and out on the first possession for Washington in this second half.
Well, that's a good job by the defense in forcing a 3 and out, and they're able to get at least a little bit of pressure on Kirk Cousins and make him move, something they didn't do a lot of there in that first half, but it's a big-time stop after their offense had gone down and gotten 3 points.
First punt of the day for either side. It's Tress way. The lefty booms it. Darren Sproles back at the 15. He gets face masked and dragged down, but no flag. And Sproles gets up looking for a flag, and there isn't one. How do they miss that? Now they throw the flag. So they didn't miss it. A flag down, and that's about as clear a face mask call as you can have, and they somehow missed it until they were talked into it either by the crowd or by the Eagles as they dropped the flag late. How does the back judge not see that?
Yeah, that's Greg Wilson, the back judge, and he was staring right at it. I saw him watching it. I was surprised as well that there was no flag. Sproles was more surprised than anybody, but it looks like they got it right.
Foul, unnecessary roughness, horse collar tackle on the return. 15-yard penalty. First down.
They still didn't see the face mask. They call a horse collar. Doesn't matter. It's 15 yards. A personal foul against Akeem Davis. Good field position for the Eagles up 4.
This game is sponsored by Visa Checkout, the easier way to pay online.
Second possession, second half for Nick Foles in this offense. Peters is out there at left tackle. That's good news for Philadelphia. They have only 1 reserve offensive lineman left. I mean, I don't know how LaShawn McCoy turns that into a positive play. That's just all McCoy in a gain of 2.
Oh, he's got an amazing ability to make a defense look like the Keystone Cops. I mean, he's amazing in being able to make people miss in such small spaces, and to be able to get anything out of that, pretty impressive.
They fake it to McCoy, not trying to throw it to him. Pass incomplete, and Foles got hurt. Foles got a hit, was grabbing at his chest or shoulder when he went down. And he didn't look very good getting up.
No, he doesn't. He's hobbling a little bit here also, and he had a chance. If he was able to get this ball to McCoy, there was a lot of room out in front of him, but it looked like he just maybe came down awkwardly.
Meanwhile, Brian Arakpo is down for the Washington Redskins, and that will give Foles maybe a chance to recover. When we asked Mark Sanchez about Mark Sanchez, the backup quarterback here, and obviously the longtime Jets starter, a guy who took the Jets to a couple of championship games, asked Chip Kelly about him. His reaction was shocking with how over the top he was, with how good Sanchez has been. He loves him, and if we see Sanchez, maybe we'll see why.
Yeah, he says that they won't miss a beat. You know, if he has to come in and play, and couldn't have been more positive in what he would expect of him. And Nick Foles, as you see him go to the ground, it was his left shoulder that he reaches for, and that's what he was trying to work out a little bit.
False alarm for Sanchez, as Foles is going to at least go back in there.
That quarterback room, the Pac-12 quarterback room for the Eagles, including their new quarterback coach, Bill Musgrave, who played his ball collegiately at the University of Oregon. Of course, Foles from Arizona, and then Matt Barkley and Mark Sanchez from that other college in Los Angeles.
Third down and 8. This one for Sproles. And the reigning NFC Offensive Player of the Week is down inside the 40 as he gets 21.
Well, Darren Sproles ran this a lot when he was with the San Diego Chargers, a staple in Norv Turner's offense. They call it H-post. He's able to beat his man, gets to the middle, and when Darren Sproles runs routes from the backfield and you only have a linebacker playing him and he's able to make a break, he is almost impossible to try to cover.
D'Angelo Hall is down. See him on the outside, and you see that left ankle just twist. And he can't get up. Sproles, who had that big week last week, good for 21 there. He has only 5 touches all day. Look ahead to next week. Fox NFL Sunday returns with a doubleheader as the Packers take on the Bears. Good start, then America's Game of the Week as these Eagles square off against Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers. Or other regional action. It all starts with the Fox NFL Kickoff Show at 11 a.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1, followed by Fox NFL Sunday at noon Eastern here on Fox. And then those games, week 4, the NFL schedule, and D'Angelo Hall needs help to get off the field.
Well, we'll be out in San Francisco for that matchup between the Eagles and 49ers, and that's one of those games, Joe, that you look at, even though it's early, and you've got to believe a lot of playoff implications will come out of that game when we get into December.
Kaepernick and the 49ers are out in the desert taking on the Cardinals later today. Colin Kaepernick coming off a 3-interception, 1 fumble game as the Bears came back last Sunday night and won the game in the debut, at least regular season, for Levi Stadium. On first down, pass is out of the reach for the flag. Macklin was working against Breland.
Well, I like what Foles did there. They bring in Breland for D'Angelo Hall, and he immediately tests him.
Illegal contact, defense number 26. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
4th-round pick out of Clemson is Bashad Breland.
Well, this Washington defense is reeling a little bit. They've not been able to slow this Eagles offense down the last several possessions.
McCoy, nothing. Making the play was Jason Hatcher, who's coming off a 2.5-sack game and a Pro Bowl year with the Dallas Cowboys. He has really solidified things up front in this 3-4.
Yeah, he's helped them a lot. Came off a great year last year, led the Cowboys in sacks, and not easy to do as an inside player. Think about when Barry Cofield comes back. It's going to help this inside game too.
Foles jumps, throws it to LaShawn McCoy. And there's not much there. McCoy's been bottled up again. Barry Riley made the stop. And the flag is
Personal
down.
foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 93 came in late unnecessarily. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Rookie second-round pick Trent Murphy.
And it's right at the very end. The ball's out, and they just don't give you much leeway on these quarterbacks. Once the ball's out of his hand, you've got about a step within the time that you can hit him, and that's a big penalty against the Redskins. You're able to make a play. They play the screen game beautifully. Not easy to do with a guy like Sproles and McCoy out of the backfield. They play it well, but they get the penalty on Murphy.
Redskins have been penalized for over 100 yards in this game. 105. Foles throws it away. Good coverage downfield, and Hatcher was in his face.
I think you got to give Foles some credit as to how well he has played here in this game, as we've got another Redskin on the ground.
It's Frank Curse. The crowd reacts because they believe that any defense that has a player down is trying to slow down this up-tempo offense of the Eagles. We saw Hall go down. Now they look at Curse. We'll take a break before 2nd and 10 when we come back. Frank Curse was able to get up and walk off under his own power. They're checking the Achilles tendon for D'Angelo Hall and the hand for Brian Arakpo. 2nd and 10. Handoff is to McCoy, and he's done nothing today. Play made by Robinson. A loss of 2.
No, they've done a nice job on LaShawn McCoy, just bottling him up, and they, these linebackers for the Redskins, they run very well, especially the two inside guys, Keenan Robinson and Perry Riley, and of course Brian Arakpo and the job that he does. They've held up well in that regard.
9 carries, 12 yards for McCoy. Fake the handoff. Now dump it off to Sproles on 3rd down, and the play is made out on the edge by Breland. And a hold on 3rd down defensively for Washington to bring on Parkey again.
Yeah, so I mean, the Eagles have been able to move the ball here in this second half. At least the Redskins, when they've gotten down inside the 20-yard line, down into the red zone areas, they've been able to tighten up and at least hold them here to 3 points, keep this game tight.
1 for 1 today. 33-yard try here for Parkey. And the rookie drills it. Traded from the Colts. And so far he's only missed 1. Every great franchise has its foundations. And our Hall of Fame spotlight this week shines on the Eagles' Chuck Bednarik. Who's a two-way player, linebacker and center. Drafted 1st overall in 1949. He missed only 3 games in his 14-year career, and one of the most iconic shots in NFL history was him standing over Frank Gifford after a big hit. Inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1967, and as I referenced, he's 89. Lives in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, eastern Pennsylvania. I'm sure watching his Eagles play. Concrete Charlie, and one of the most beloved Philadelphia athletes of all time.
Concrete Charlie. What a career he had, Hall of Fame career, and you think that he's seen this game change over the years from when he played to where it is today.
How about a guy who was a two-way player for the 1960 championship team, 35 years old, played linebacker and center, and guys weren't really doing that anymore at that point as they look and now cart D'Angelo Hall off the field. And so Washington down by 7. We'll start this drive with Kirk Cousins at their own 20.
Well, this Redskins defense, even though they've tightened up, they have had the ball moved against them, and right now for this offense, Washington, it's time now for them to get something going themselves. They were so efficient there in that first half, haven't had much opportunity here in this second half, but this is an important drive now to allow their defense a chance to kind of collect themselves, and then for them offensively to get back in it.
4 catches on the return to Philadelphia for DeSean Jackson, as Alfred Morris picks up 5. And here's the day for DeSean Jackson, who is playing with a mild sprain. The AC joint his left shoulder. He didn't get flagged for that shove. He drew a penalty. And he's been a part of what was an impressive first half offensively for Washington, but nothing big yet. 4 for 36. Cousins keeps it. Pass is caught by Paul. And the tight end's got a first down.
Well, that's a play that Casey Matthews, he's got to be able to make. He was in a position to make a play on Paul. He just fails to make it. But coming into this game, defensive coordinator Bill Davis said, hey, we've got to be able to control the running game of the Washington Redskins, and they've been able to do that. Alfred Morris has gotten his opportunities, but he hasn't had a great deal of success. So Bill Davis, when they came in and what he was hoping to accomplish, they've been able to do that here in this game today.
Morris makes one man miss, but nowhere to go. No gain, and the first guy there was D'Amico Ryans. 2nd and 10 coming up.
I don't know what happens in that locker room for the Eagles with Bill Davis and the rest of that defensive staff, but it is a different defense each week when they come out after the first 30 minutes, and they've been a different defense here in this half from what they showed in the first half.
They've allowed only 10 second half points in 2+ games. Being scored 64. Nice grab by Paul. No whistles yet. They're letting this play continue. It looked like Paul got knocked to the ground by the defender. Evidently not. And it's a 16-yard catch and then run after the catch as they let it go. Let's see if he got knocked to the ground by Nolan Carroll.
It looked like there was contact at the point of the catch.
And we're going to get a challenge from Chip Kelly. If Carroll is involved and gets the hands on the hands, which is what it looked like of Niles Paul as he's making the catch going to the ground, they won't give that extra yardage.
Philadelphia is challenging the ruling on the field of progress is related to a first down as the runner was not touched.
And he was touched. But it's really not much of a difference, only 6 yards. They had already picked up the first down. But a challenge looks like it will be successful. We'll get the call when we come back. Let's see where they spot this ball, as Paul might have been inches short of a first down, which would bring up 3rd and inches. Here's the call.
After review, the Washington runner was down by contact at the 40.5 yard line. It will be 3rd down, 1/2 yard to gain at the 40.5 yard line. Philadelphia will not be charged with a timeout.
So forget the 6 yards of field position, because when he came down right there, they're saying he's short of first down yardage. So now it's 3rd down and inches. A worthwhile challenge by Chip Kelly. We'll see if Washington can pick it up. Successful challenge. Philadelphia has 2 left. Seven for 10 on 3rd downs is Washington. And Cousins picks it up easily. So a first down with Washington trailing by 7, under 5.5 to go, 3rd quarter.
Well, as we talked about, the Redskins, they've been really good on 3rd down. They haven't really had to overcome much. I mean, it's ideal for the amount of yardage that they've had to cover on most of these 3rd downs.
Sean Laval, who's the starting left guard, is out. He's been battling a knee injury, so Josh Laribas, 67, takes over at left guard. Cousins, Paul, and a short pickup for Niles Paul. He gets a yard, maybe a yard and a half. This October, history will be made as America's newest sports network will cover baseball's postseason. Fox Sports 1, your new home for baseball's National League Division and Championship Series. It all begins on October 3rd. Quiet day for Jackson, 2nd and 9.
99. Roger.
Pass is broken up. Well played by Kerry Williams on Pierre Garçon.
Well, it was a well-designed play by Washington. Their expected man coverage, they got it, and it forces Kerry to play a little bit soft after he got off the ball because of the action on the other receiver to the inside. But couldn't tell if Kerry's able to get his hand in there and make a play on it. And this is about the longest 3rd down that Washington's had all day.
It's the longest. 3rd down and 9. Just got it away. Cousins guns it. Pass incomplete for the rookie Ryan Grant. A little bit behind him, and that was hectic trying to get that ball snapped.
He's wanting to get the ball snapped. Pretty good protection overall, too, and they have an opportunity to get the ball into Ryan Grant. He's open on the inside route, a ball that's thrown a little bit behind him, but one you would certainly expect Ryan Grant to be able to handle. They rave about him and the job that he's done and what good hands he has, but unable to make the play.
High hanging punt from the 10. It's Darren Sproles. Just tripped up. And it's one of the backup linebackers, Will Compton, who just got enough of Sproles to stop what could have been an electrifying play.
I think this might have gone to the house if he's not able to get just enough of Sproles. I'm not sure anybody would be able to get him.
Been a big special teams day for the Eagles. That was an 18-yard return. Compton stopped it. We've already seen Philadelphia with a 102-yard kick return for a touchdown. So Philadelphia has it. 3:48 to go, 3rd quarter, up 7. Foles backing up. Arakpo in his face, and the pass incomplete. And good to see Brian Arakpo back out there for Washington.
Well, Andrew Gardner, he's the right tackle. He got his first start last week, and he just gets out of position. Arakpo starts like he's going to try the speed move. He comes underneath. He's got a straight shot to Nick Foles. That's, he's going down. See the left shoulder that was bothering him earlier. But Arakpo, an outstanding job against Andrew Gardner there at right tackle.
Washington playing without D'Angelo Hall. Pass is caught. Matthews, first down, Philadelphia. How about a report on D'Angelo Hall? Here's Aaron Andrews.
Yeah, Joe, you mentioned he's out with an Achilles injury, and obviously a big blow. He was taken off on a cart, and that is a big blow just emotionally for this Washington defense, because I got to tell you, I watched them down over here on the bench before they got in the field. A lot of guys having their heads down. A couple players having to walk up and down the sidelines to get them up and going.
A 3-time Pro Bowler lost for today. Who knows how long? Doesn't look good. Here's McCoy, a lot of dancing, has to get around his quarterback Foles. Kerrigan on the stop, a gain of just 1.
And Foles was like the 12th defender there. I don't know where the ball might go when LaShawn McCoy has it in his hands. We talk about Chip Kelly and this offense and how dynamic it is. I mean, let's be honest, you can take this offense to some other places and not do the things that they're doing here in Philadelphia because of these players.
2nd and 9. Foles just got it away. He finds Macklin. And Jeremy Macklin is up to the 45, a gain of 3, 3rd down coming up.
I was going to say earlier, Joe, that Nick Foles, I think there was a lot of pressure on him coming into this game to get off to a good start and play well. And even though they were leading the league in offense, he had not played as well as he did a year ago, and he's had a nice ball game here this afternoon.
Only 2 incompletions for the first half in limited work. Pass is out of the reach of Sproles. and it's 4th down.
Well, big stop by Washington because, as we said, the Eagles on their previous 2 possessions able to move the ball down, come away with field goals to get a stop and get off the field on 3rd down and keep this a 1-possession game. It's good work.
First Eagles punt of the day coming off the foot of Donnie Jones. Left-footed punters in this game, end over end, and a fair catch called for and hauled in by Roberts, but a flag is down. Looks like it's against Philadelphia. Here's a call.
Illegal formation, offense, the right guard and right tackle, not on the line of scrimmage. Washington has exercised the option of having the 5-yard penalty added to the end of the kick. First down.
So they add 5 yards to the end of the kick, and that'll take it out to the 19-yard line. Well, how about the game coming up? Week 3 continues later today on CBS, and for some of you on Fox, and tonight was Sunday Night Football on NBC, plus Monday Night Football on ESPN. And the big game coming up later today is a rematch of Super Bowl 48, with the Denver Broncos having to travel to Seattle. And Troy, Peyton Manning and that offense has no idea the noise that they're about to be hit with in Seattle.
Well, you got to believe it's going to be better than it was in the Super Bowl, but it's an unfair battle whenever you have to go to Seattle and face that rush.
Cousins going to air it out. DeSean Jackson downfield. He's got it. And the former Eagle is going to take it in backward and score. DeSean Jackson with an 81-yard touchdown working against Kerry Williams. And then that Eagle-type celebration, kicking it away as DeSean Jackson, who was let go by Chip Kelly and the Philadelphia Eagles, comes back to haunt him with an 81-yarder.
Well, Nate Allen, the middle safety, he gets caught peeking, thinking that he's not going to take the shot deep over the top. He settles out. You're going to see Nate Allen right here. And when the receiver comes across in front of him, hits where he's expecting the ball to go. He doesn't play deep middle and gives no help then to his corner, Kerry Williams. That's tough duty for Kerry Williams, playing outside technique against a speed guy down the middle of the field. He's expecting to have some safety help from Allen.
So the 3-time Pro Bowler while with the Philadelphia Eagles, DeSean Jackson, cut loose the end of March, picked up and signed 4 days later by the NFC East rival Washington Redskins, is good from 81, and this game is tied.
Well, that's a great job by Kirk Cousins, recognizing sometimes that's hard to see as a quarterback when you're trying to read a safety as to how deep he really is and whether or not he's able to turn and make a play on a deep throw over his head. But he sees that Nate Allen had settled just enough that he could get DeSean Jackson, and then to have enough arm to lay it out there in stride. That's a good job.
Kerry Williams, his reaction on the bench.
Yeah, he's wondering where his help was, because he's not going to run with DeSean Jackson.
2 minutes, 4 seconds left in the third quarter of this really good game here in week 3. It's Kirk Cousins who talked about DeSean Jackson. They haven't had a lot of work together. Obviously, the majority of the work that's happened so far was with RG3, and Cousins said, of all the guys, I know the attributes on the field of DeSean Jackson the least.
And he didn't get any work with him this week because of the shoulder injury.
If Jackson doesn't practice, and he's good for 81 yards down the middle of the field from Kirk Cousins, and the Eagles, who have just been tied, will start at the 20. How about the numbers of the two quarterbacks? Cousins has thrown for 292. Look at his rating. Look at the rating of Nick Foles. He's only thrown 6 incompletions. That's about as good as you can play it.
That's really good play by both of these guys, and it's been fun to stand up here and watch them do it.
So now Foles will try and answer.
Yeah, the two guys who we showed earlier had a cup of coffee together there at Michigan State.
They needed coffee, falling asleep in the front of the film room as freshmen, tired, according to Nick Foles. Delayed handoff. McCoy trying to be patient. He has really been bottled up. Then he gets a really big hit from Ryan Clark at the end of it, a gain of 4. Some of the Eagles didn't like that.
You know, Joe, there's been so many injuries in this game. It already, both of these teams have a different look from the one that came in to start this game. And how are both teams going to be able to manage it as they move into next week? Especially this Eagles with the offensive line.
Protected is Foles. He finds Macklin, who hops out of bounds with a first down for Philadelphia. That one good for 13 yards. Macklin coming off a lost season, a tear in the knee, and he looks like he did before the injury. 6 feet, 198 pounds is Macklin out of Missouri. First round pick in 09 when Andy Reid was here. That snap was late. And because of it, a near interception. The snap was late by the backup center David Molk, and because of that there was pressure by Ryan Kerrigan, who got in the backfield before Foles really got set.
Well, there seemed to be some confusion offensively by the Eagles. Even Riley Cooper was throwing his hands up, wondering what the play was, and you see him right here, and then he just kind of lines up. I was watching to see what he did. He wasn't real sure what he was supposed to do when the ball was snapped, but Nick Foles almost with a big mistake. Chris Baker at nose tackle, you're just not going to get opportunities like that.
Play clock at 3. Handoff to McCoy. And on second down, a gain of 4, so a big third down coming up with about a minute left in the quarter. The play selection. And all the way to 2-1 pass to run. Not much room on the ground against the Washington defense for LeSean McCoy. Third down and 6. Pass is caught by Matthews, but he is short of a first down. How about that catch by the rookie out of Vanderbilt? But it's 4th down.
Yeah, that was really good, Joe, for a ball getting away from him like that to be able to reach out and make the catch. Unfortunately for the Eagles, they're unable to pick up the first down. You know, Jim Haslett, it's a challenge facing this offense with all the things that they're able to do, but to be able to get off the field the way they have here the last couple of times, they've done a good job.
Donnie Jones. Roberts with a fair catch just outside the 15. 38-yard punt, nothing on the return, and Kirk Cousins coming off that 81-yard touchdown throw to DeSean Jackson. We'll head back out there to work in a tie game. Let's go back to the touchdown last time. Number 8 had it in his right hand.
You're going to see, I mean, Kirk Cousins, he knows where he wants to go with the ball. Then it's just a matter of whether or not the safety is going to allow him to take that shot. And he shows off the arm that he has in being able to hit a guy like DeSean Jackson on a deep post. Sometimes those guys are easier to throw to because there's almost no way you're going to overthrow them.
Here is Morris. Alfred Morris shakes one tackle. And the big back is out across the 20. A 7-yard run. Should have been a loss on the play, and that's the way the third quarter ends. Morris got away from Brandon Graham and turned it into a 7-yard gain. Back after this from the local Fox station. The tandem of McCoy and Sproles on the bench, watching with the rest of us on a 2nd down and 3. Cousins fires, got a man. Pass is caught by Garcon. And Pierre Garcon has got a first down out at the Washington 35.
It's a really good job here by Alfred Morris as he steps up and picks up the blitzing safety, Nate Allen. He gets just enough of him. That's not really his strength as a running back, pass protection, but he does a good enough job to afford Kirk Cousins time in the pocket to deliver a strike.
180. What's up?
Hand off to Morris, running right, and he's bottled up. Let's go to Joel Klatt with a game break.
Joe, to St. Louis, remember the Rams had a 21-0 lead in this ball game, but that has quickly evaporated. Bruce Carter, the 25-yard interception return for a TD. The Cowboys have a 10-point lead. Joe, Troy, and Aaron.
Joel, thank you. So that thing has completely flipped. The Dallas Cowboys are staring at a 2-1 start. That's what Washington wants at the end of this day. If Washington wins this game, the three top teams in the division will all be 2-1. Quick setup and throw. Garcon, what a good play. Out on the edge, and that play was made by Boykin.
Well, when you come up and you play press and you're challenging these receivers the way that the Eagles do, Brandon Boykin, if you throw that wide receiver screen and you're not able to then pick off the guy who's covering, then you're going to have a tough time. And Boykin, he's able to get away. They're trying to block him up with Trent Williams at left tackle, and Boykin's able to get out there and make a big stop.
3rd down and 10. Cousins, pass incomplete. Roberts didn't look for it in time. Looked like a pretty good throw, but Andre Roberts didn't look like he was ready for it.
No, Andre Roberts is running his route. This is amazing anticipation by Kirk Cousins. You know, you see Roberts come out, and then he's got to try to locate the ball. One that he certainly could have caught. That's not an easy play for Roberts to be able to make. That ball was let loose by Kirk Cousins much sooner than it normally would be, but he did put it on the money.
Look at this punt by Tress Way. It was pretty, but it goes into the end zone. So nice work by the Philadelphia defense now. Roberts couldn't come up with it on 3rd down. Eagles have it in a tie game. You really have to credit the Washington defense. You look at the injuries and who's banged up. Big loss for Philadelphia. All these guys are out. Kelsey, the center, such a vital piece of what they do here with the Eagles offensively, is out. Here's McCoy, and not much. So if you go back to Monday night, McCoy and Sproles with their yards from scrimmage total 280. Today, those two guys at 70. So a good job by this Washington defense in slowing down two guys that really got off to good starts.
Well, an outstanding job, because these two guys are hard to bottle up. I don't even like to call them, you know, a 1-2 punch, because they're like 1A and 1B. They're both so dynamic. And in that game on Monday night, like we saw so much of that with Darren Sproles anyway, with the screen game. You know, Washington has well, they're going to get their yardage, but Washington has held up very nicely.
Foles overthrows Macklin. He had Macklin behind the defense, but Nick Foles put too much air under it. 3rd and 8.
Yeah, that's the first one we've seen him miss here today. But Jeremy Macklin, he just runs straight off the ball, and he's wide open for a touchdown. And those are the throws that, you know, considering coming into this game, the Eagles number 2 in all of football in pass plays of 20 yards or more, and I bet that they left at least 8 of them on the field in the first 2 weeks, and that was another chance.
Pass is incomplete. Probably a good thing for Philadelphia. Selleck couldn't pull it in. And kind of a misdirection play that didn't work at all. Good work up front by the linebackers of Washington. It's 3 and out.
And now with the 3 and out by Washington, this should give the ball to Washington with outstanding field position for their next possession.
Donnie Jones will hit it. Not a pretty punt. Roberts catches it on the move, and they will have good field position. 7-yard return. And they are going to mark Roberts out of bounds past the 45 of the 47 in a tie game. In the 2012 draft, Andrew Luck went #1 overall, RG3 #2. 100 picks later, it was Kirk Cousins out of Michigan State. Rookie teammates with Robert Griffin III with Washington. Had a good day. 5th NFL start. Down the sideline, he's got his man, and the catch is made by Garcon. Perfect throw and a strong catch from number 88.
And Kirk Cousins delivers another strike. He does an excellent job of holding the safety and not turning to throw to Garcon until the last minute. So he holds the safety as long as he can, and he needed to, because this ball had to be placed perfectly along the sideline to allow Garcon to make the play before Nate Allen comes over and knocks him out. That's some of the throws that Kirk Cousins has made in this game have been really impressive.
Here's Morris, left side. Inside the 10.
You know, all the discussion this week, Joe, about what happens when RG3 is healthy, and what's the future of him. It was, everybody was kind of expecting Kirk to come out and play well, and he has done that. I mean, he has thrown a little fuel on the fire. There'll be a lot more discussion taking place this week. He's been outstanding.
You're talking about a guy in RG3 who was the offensive rookie of the year in 2012, helping his team, carrying his team to a division title in the playoffs. Then he tore his ACL. Cousins with all day. Slings it out of bounds in the direction of Young, the fullback.
And we talked about it, Joe. There's been some balls that have been challenged by these defensive backs. I mean, they haven't all been just wide open throws, but he's put the ball where it's had to be, and he really hasn't put the ball in harm's way. I mean, I watch him, and he's very smart, even on that play right there. A lot of guys who hadn't played as much as he has, they would try to force something in there and maybe make a mistake, and he's been very smart with the football, and I thought he was last week when he came off the bench against Jacksonville too.
And they're going to get him for delay of game, and then Fletcher Cox is on top of Cousins. No flag, as Fletcher Cox will say. You couldn't hear the whistle. Now Boykin ends up on the ground. There are no flags down except for the one for delay of game.
Well, I don't fault Fletcher Cox on that. He probably did not hear the whistle as he came off
delay
the ball.
Game, offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
But when you're talking about a guy that's 300 pounds with a straight shot at your quarterback, and he gives himself up at the very end of this play, I mean, the Redskins are very fortunate that Kirk Cousins is able to just get up from this hit. He's got both of his arms, and that's the way you blow out a shoulder.
3rd down and 12. Pass incomplete for DeSean Jackson. And the crowd will like that even more.
A good stop there, Joe, down here in the red zone. The Redskins go to the empty set formation, and last week, whenever Indianapolis did that, the Eagles brought pressure. The Redskins have no backs in the backfield, and they bring the inside pressure with the linebackers. You've got to get the ball out quickly, and they're just unable to deliver a good ball then to DeSean Jackson to at least give him a chance to pick up that 1st down.
Trying to go 3 for 3 on the day. Forbath from 33 yards out, and the lead. Good snap, good hold. Kick is no good. Still tied.
Game is sponsored by Visa Checkout, the easier way to pay online.
Tied at 27. And the Philadelphia Eagles have their offense on the field starting at their own 23 after the 33-yard miss by Forbath, who hit the right upright. The Eagles have punted last 3 times they've had it. Foles keeps it, throws it too high, and he is picked off. They're going to give it to Breeland, and Breeland is down inside the 35. We'll take another look at it, as will they. Penalty flags at the end of the play. Foles is down, injured, and a fight breaks out. The last thing the league needs right now is some brawl along the sideline here in Philadelphia, and it looks like it's calmed down. But we'll look, as will they, because it's a turnover, at what they called an interception by Breeland, but it looked like he did not secure it before the ball hit the ground. Meanwhile, Foles is injured and getting a lot of attention out there at the 30-yard line.
Yeah, while this is going on, then you see that they're tending to Nick Foles to find out the severity of his injury. We'll see if there's any ejections that take place based on what just happened.
Well, first let's look at what has been ruled an interception.
Well, Breeland, he forgot he's in the NFL. First of all, I mean, he goes to make a play on this, and the question is whether or not he had it. He did not.
I think he doesn't get up and run because he knows he doesn't catch it.
Yeah, well, he turns and tries to show the official
Both
that he
teams
made
are
the play.
directed to their benches.
Look at that. Chris Baker at the end of the play lays into Nick Foles. And they now throw 3 flags down on the field. As Jason Peters, the left tackle, goes right after Chris Baker. After Baker does that right there to Nick Foles. And thankfully Nick Foles is up and looks to be okay. Mike Pereira joins us. Troy, sorry to cut you off, from Los Angeles. And well, these officials have got to get control of this football game, Mike.
Well, this is as close to being out of hand as anything I've seen this year. You know, you've got the incomplete pass ruling here. But what you're going to get is all of these fouls. The hit on Foles happens first, but then you have the skirmish and the fight, and likely all of those will offset. It'll go back to incomplete.
Unnecessary roughness. Washington, number 92, hit on the quarterback, and number 92 has been disqualified from the game.
So Baker's out of the game. Mike, you saw what we saw. They initially said interception, but it doesn't look like that was an interception.
After the play was over,
there's the hit that takes Baker out of the game.
Philadelphia, number 71, and number 71, number 71 for Washington, and number 71 is disqualified.
Well, now Washington's lost their left tackle.
Both of these 15-yard penalties will be enforced.
Here's the reaction by Trent Williams as he's been ejected. So Williams is ejected. Baker is ejected from the Washington side. Peters, for the moment, is still in the ball game. All of that off this, but this followed, Mike Pereira, what looked to be an incomplete pass, even though they ruled it initially an interception.
Right, and that's the part of this now that has to go back, is go make this an incomplete pass. And we all see this. Watch the ball go to the ground, hits the ground, so the pass is incomplete. So they'll reverse it to an incomplete pass. Now you got to go back and see what's going to be enforced and what's not going to be enforced. And you've got fouls by both teams. The question then, will it offset? That's what Tony Carini is going to have to figure out. And he'll get a chance to look at this under the hood and also talk to New York.
Meanwhile, Troy, another ball got away from Nick Foles. He had his receiver wide open on that play.
Yeah, I believe it was a tight end who he had, and the ball just got away from him. That hit by Chris Baker is a hit that the league they took out of the league back in 2002. It was a playoff game between the Chicago Bears and the Eagles. They took out Jim Miller. And they don't want these quarterbacks exposed like that on a change of possession. And Chris Baker takes a shot at him, and that's what initiated the scrum.
Somehow Foles is able to get up where he just got crunched, and for a moment there it looked like it was going to be a serious injury. And now Jay Gruden gets a visit from Tony Corrente as they try to restore order. Chris Baker, the nose tackle, is out.
The previous play will go under review.
There's no doubt that this ball will stay with Philadelphia. Then the question is, how will they mark off these penalties? But that's not an interception. We expect that call to be overturned. We'll get it when we come back. We'll get the call right now from Tony Corrente.
After review, there is no interceptions. The ball hit the ground. It's an incomplete pass. It will be Philadelphia's ball, 2nd down and 10 at the 24-yard line. Would the game clock operator please reset the game clock to 10:03. There is also correction on the disqualifications. It was number 92 for Washington and number 71 for Philadelphia have been disqualified.
So that's why there's no penalty enforced, because they called the wrong team. So now Philadelphia loses their all-pro tackle Jason Peters. He's out of the game, and Philadelphia now has no more extra offensive linemen to bring in. They started the game with Kevin Graff, a rookie from USC, not active. The same for Matt Tobin.
Play as a result of a penalty may stay in the game.
Matt Tobin's been battling a left ankle injury, and so now the only guy they have, somebody who signed last week, Wade Smith, will come in along the offensive line, and they are out of reserves on the O-line for Philadelphia as Jason Peters, who was sticking up for Nick Foles, gets ejected because of the hit by Chris Baker.
Well, it looks like they move Andrew Gardner maybe to left tackle,
which they do. Here's McCoy right side, still trying to run it. And even with all those substitutes up front, McCoy on 2nd down gets 5. 3rd down coming up.
Yeah, a lot of adjustments taking place along the offensive line due to these injuries, and now they've got Todd Hermans, who has played tackle in previous years. They've move him now out to right tackle. They bring in Wade Smith, who, as you said, he just joined the team, and now he's at guard.
They called a hold against Dennis Kelly on that last play. Kelly is playing in place of the injured Evan Mathis, a Pro Bowler last year, and that backs the ball up just inside the 14-yard line. Foles has his man, pass is caught by Jeff Mayo, and that makes it a 3rd and short after a 16-yard completion. 2nd catch of the year from Mayo. Now 3rd and 4. Foles floats it. Ertz dropped it for the flag. We welcome in a new audience, and you're about to see a pass interference call against the Washington Redskins.
Pass interference, defense number 52, automatic 1st down.
They get Keenan Robinson for pass interference, didn't get his head around as Ertz could not haul in what was a very good throw from Nick Foles.
Boy, that was a tight call right there. Keenan Robinson, who can really run. There was contact just before the ball got there. But as you said, Joe, he never got turned to try to make a play on the ball.
21-yard penalty sets up 1st down in midfield. Riley Cooper on a wide receiver screen is knocked down. The play made by Emerson. This game has had everything. It was a game that was dominated in the first half by Philadelphia, time of possession wise. Rather Washington, but Philadelphia had a 1-point lead at the half. If you're tuning in at the moment, just joining this game, you just missed a fight because of this hit by Chris Baker on Nick Foles at the end of what was originally called an interception. Baker's been ejected, as has Jason Peters, the left tackle for the Eagles. Ertz overthrown. And it was Keenan Robinson with him stride for stride, now 3rd and 8.
Well, that's a matchup that Chip Kelly obviously likes. You split out the tight end Zach Ertz, and that's drawing then Keenan Robinson, their linebacker, who, as I said, he can run, but Ertz has got to step on him, and it also then allows, based on the way that Washington's playing coverage, it allows Foles to get the ball out of his hands quickly because of the changes they've had to make along the offensive line.
Changes defensively, too, for Washington as they've lost D'Angelo Hall. Pass is to Macklin, incomplete, out of bounds. And Jeremy Macklin tried to get the feet down, could not. It's 4th down.
Well, they run a twist, the Redskins do up front, and Todd Herremans, who made the transition to right tackle just a couple plays ago, they're not able to pick it up. Ryan Kerrigan puts another big hit on Nick Foles, and an opportunity.
Look at the knee.
It was a heck of a catch, and that looks like a catch to me, Joe.
And a challenge from Chip Kelly.
That's a great catch by Jeremy Macklin, hauling it in and then being able to get his knee on the ground.
So a challenge by Chip Kelly. He's 1 for 1 on the day. We believe will be 2 for 2. We'll get the call when we come back. 1 knee equals 2 feet. The play was at 3rd down and 8 at the 48. It was ruled incomplete. But a look at it as you see the knee of Jeremy Macklin come down before his right elbow hits out of bounds, and this should be a catch, a 1st down for the Eagles, and just a brilliant throw and catch by Foles and Macklin.
That's as good a catch as you're going to see in this league, and the job that Foles does with pressure, hanging in there and delivering a perfect pass.
Tony Correnti and this crew's been busy.
After review, the Philadelphia receiver was able to control and maintain possession of the football inbound. It is a completed pass. It will be Philadelphia's ball, 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line. As Philadelphia has won their 2nd challenge, they will be entitled to a 3rd challenge and will not be charged with a timeout.
You can see the twist that takes place up front with Kerrigan, and I mean, Foles gets blown up at the end of this play, knowing he's going to get hit, laying it out there on the sidelines where only Macklin can make a play, and he shows up for him and hauls that in. That's a good job. Foles has been taking a lot of hits in this game today,
including a cheap one from Chris Baker. They got Baker kicked out of the game. Foles, Cooper, Emerson lost his helmet on the hit. Realize, Troy, that the Eagles are without Kelsey at center, Jason Peters at tackle. They've already lost Evan Mathis at guard, and Alan Barber at right tackle, who was playing in place of the suspended Lane Johnson. I mean, that's as thin as you can be up front.
Pretty remarkable, and yet they're still moving the ball down the field. I mean, give this offensive staff some credit, as well as Jeff Stoutland, their offensive line coach. He's been scrambling throughout this game.
Play action, Foles got a man. Touchdown, Philly. Jeremy Macklin.
Jordan Matthews down that seam throughout this game. This time they have Matthews inside. They got Macklin just outside of that. Matthews goes through the middle, and then you're going to see Macklin up the seam. It puts a bind then on the middle safety. He's not able to be there. For a group that had not been able to get the ball to the wide receivers, they have been outstanding in this game. These wide receivers have made the difference.
They have more catches by the wide receivers in this game alone than they had over the first 2 games. And they're 2-0, trying to go to 3-0. And in a city that loves tough guys, I think Nick Foles is once again proving, with the hits he's taken, the way he's hung in there, that number 9 is a tough guy for this Philadelphia offense.
Yeah, he's been battered. He's been knocked down. He's hanging in the pocket. He's got a group of guys in front of him that shoot. Wade Smith, I don't even know if he knew his name before today. He just signed a week ago. They're all playing out of position, and yet Chip Kelly calls a game and Nick Foles delivers, and they're able to go right down the field and come away with 7 points, and all because of the throw that Foles is able to make and Macklin along the sidelines. That's a great job, and you can see Chip Kelly. He recognizes it as well. This is, you said it, Joe. It's been a tough afternoon for him physically, but he has delivered.
You can still see that left arm of Foles kind of hanging there. He was grabbing at it earlier. He doesn't look to be totally right. But man, on that throw to Macklin along the sideline, he had two guys that sandwiched him, and he hung in there and delivered literally the perfect pass that set up the touchdown. Now Parkey hits it. Washington will start at their own 20, down 7. We're going to give a recap. DeSean Jackson, 81 yards to tie this game at 27. And then after a nice drive, Forbath hit the right upright. Game stayed tied. There's the hit on Foles. It got Baker ejected. The retaliation by Peters right there got Jason Peters ejected. And after a brilliant catch on the sideline by Macklin, Jeremy Macklin is in for his 3rd touchdown of the season and a 7-point lead. Cousins not on the same page. Pass picked off. Intercepted by Jenkins.
It was Malcolm Jenkins a week ago who makes the play to win that game, essentially, when he picked off Andrew Luck. And the ground that he covers here is pretty impressive, because no question Niles Paul and Cousins are not on the same page. Niles Paul does not believe the ball is going to come in his direction. That would normally be incomplete. Malcolm Jenkins, to be able to get over the top of that route, lay out, and make a play, that's pretty good.
Jenkins, who has taken over as the quarterback for the back half of that defense, has both interceptions this season for Philadelphia. What a pickup he's been. Howie Roseman, the general manager, Chip Kelly, the head coach. Handoff is to LaShawn McCoy, a gain of 1.
Yeah, Malcolm Jenkins, what was it? Bill Davis was telling us that, you know, they're able to bring him in and he's able to make checks and change the defense, you know, when an offense lines up, and that's something they weren't able to do last year. You know, they just didn't have a guy who was able to change the calls, so they had to line up and run whatever it was that was signaled in by Bill Davis and his staff. And he's been a great pickup, and one that they targeted as soon as free agency occurred.
This crowd has been loud. They're quiet with the offense on the field, and now brought down from behind by Orakpo is LaShawn McCoy, a gain of 1, and a lot of dancing by LaShawn McCoy. 3rd down and 8 coming up, and they are not in chip shot field goal range for Parkey. You're looking right now at a 51-yard try if they don't get any more yardage here.
Now, you say dancing around, that's something that does get under the skin of Chip Kelly, but he's fun to watch when he's doing it.
3rd and 8.
No, 5-2. See it.
Foles floats it. Selleck overthrown. Had him wide open, but too much air under it. And now a 51-yard try coming from Parkey.
Yeah, this will be interesting now as you see the route. He's got a chance. Selleck, you drive that ball into him. But with not being able to get any more yardage than they did off of that possession, that's a good job defensively for this Redskins team.
He played at Auburn. John Dornbos, the long snapper, with Donnie Jones holding. Parkey makes the folks happy in Philly. Plenty of leg from 51. And he's now 8 of 9 on the season as Philadelphia leads this game by 10.
Well, that changes everything now for the Redskins offensively. with it being a 2-possession game. Still time with just under 6 minutes left, but they're going to have to get going. You know, if you miss that and you're down 7, you just run your offense and you do what you do. But there's going to be some urgency now with this Redskins offense trying to get the ball down the field.
Each side with all 3 of their timeouts remaining. Cousins, in his 5th NFL start, has thrown for 348 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. And he'll be back on the field. Cousins took over last week for the injured RG3. Dislocated left ankle, and now Parkey kicks it away. He's got to be charged up after that 51-yarder. And he is. So we welcome you inside our broadcast booth. We could go to Twitter or the internet. You can just suggest whatever you want us to talk about, because I mean, there's 500 ways to go in this game, but in the end I think it's Foles hanging in and this offense doing what it's done in the second half each of the first 2 weeks for Philly.
Yeah, you know, I mean, Nick Foles has been great. Kirk Cousins has been great. I mean, both the quarterbacks, neither of them have let us down, and now Kirk Cousins gets an opportunity with just under 6 minutes and down 10 points, and he has the 1 interception, but you know, not many guys in the National Football League that can make the play that Malcolm Jenkins made moments ago.
Cousins throws, and he's got Garcon along the sideline. First down. The Eagles and Redskins join the NFL in celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. From players to coaches to owners to fans, many Latinos have left a lasting legacy on the league. Hear their stories by visiting NFL.com/Hispanic Heritage. Join us in celebrating the diversity of the NFL during Hispanic Heritage Month and all season long. From the 31. 5.5 to go. Setting up a screen for Halou. Room to run. Down the sideline. Roy Halou. Caught from behind. And the guy who caught him was Malcolm Jenkins, who just had an interception a moment ago. But the Redskins are right back in it at the Philly 14.
Well, a perfect call by Jay Gruden. Brandon Boyk in the corner is going to come off the slot, and the Redskins run the screen the opposite direction. So now they're in man coverage on the outside, and you block the one guy who then is covering Halou, and there's nobody else out there to make a play. That's just calling it at the right time and then catching the Eagles in a blitz.
55 yards for Halou. And the 7th different receiver Cousins has found in this game. Pass, end zone, out of the reach of Jackson. Fletcher was on him. We've had 2 ejections. We've had multiple injuries. Laval, D'Angelo Hall, Iheanacho. We haven't talked about him, more of a special teams player, out with a foot. Baker ejected. That's all for Washington. Kelsey, the center for Philadelphia, and Jason Peters, the all-pro left tackle. He's been ejected. 2nd and 10. Pass is caught. Roberts makes a move. Andre Roberts is down just outside the goal line, where he sets up 1st and goal with 4.5 to go.
An outstanding job by Andre Roberts. Watch the job that he does in the slot and the way that he is able to move and create some separation, and then Nolan Carroll is unable to make a play.
Handoff and a touchdown, Halou. He got him down there with a 55-yard catch and run. He pounds it in from just outside the end zone, and Washington right back in the game.
Yeah, you know, you say, hey, well, they've got to get some big plays in a 2-possession game. They got to score quick, but hard to imagine them being able to do it that quick. Of course, the big play, as you said, the screen pass to Roy Halou. An outstanding job to now cut this game to 3 points once again.
Washington goes 80 yards for the touchdown in 99 seconds. Exactly what they needed. Forbath has made it a 3-point game, and a guy who's been battling a bad groin, Forbath, doesn't look like he's kicking it very well right now. Here's the big play, the 55-yarder to Roy Halou.
Yeah, you know, you catch him at the right time. And the Redskins, they run the screen. They've got, as I said, they got the corner coming off the edge, and then with defensive backs and their back to the runner, you're able to get some big plays if you pick off the guy who's responsible in coverage for Halou, and that's what they were able to do. And Andre Roberts, we talked about what a key pickup he was for this receiving core. That's an excellent job on the route.
Then Halou pounds it in from just outside the end zone, and with the extra point, it's a 3-point game.
It's been a heck of a ball game. You talk about all these injuries for both these teams, Joe, and these trainers around the league, they don't get much of a break. Neither of the trainers for these two teams are going to. They're going to be working overtime.
You can see Foles poking around in that left shoulder. He got injured on a hit earlier in this second half. He's been able to hang in there. Sure, there'll be more on that at the end of this game as Sproles will take a knee. Nick Foles will go back to work, and he has been under a lot of pressure and taken a lot of big hits. And that's the one where he hurt that left shoulder. And for good measure, he got a cheap shot at the end of what was erroneously called an interception.
Well, now you look at Philadelphia, Joe, and the one thing that they don't do is take time off the clock. You know, they're either scoring in a hurry or they're punting in a hurry, but they don't generally just milk the time off the clock. But I'm interested in seeing what kind of game Chip Kelly calls here and whether or not they're able to run the ball against this defense. As we talked about, the Redskins have been pretty good here in this game against LeSean McCoy.
Has not been sacked despite all that pressure. Here's McCoy. He's bottled up. He lost a yard. Nick Foles has a quarterback rating of 115.2, 27 of 40, 306 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. And with the way McCoy has been unable to get anything on the ground, you have to believe that Foles is going to have to put it up here sooner or later.
He's going to have to put it up, and I know that Chip Kelly does not want him having to hold the ball in the pocket because of the issues up front in that offensive line. And so they're going to try to get the ball out quick and just try to get first downs.
McCoy averaging just over 1 yard per carry in this game. Gonna get it again and gets nothing. Curse made the play. So now 3rd down and 11 coming up.
Well, Jim Haslett, you know, you have your hands full when you face this Eagles offense and all the things that they're able to do. And as much as people think Chip Kelly is about throwing the ball, he likes to run the football. From his days at Oregon and then here with Philadelphia. But this Redskins defense has held up exceptionally well as you see the numbers for LeSean McCoy.
Washington came in as the #1 ranked defense after 2 weeks. Foles on 3rd down overthrows Cooper. And it's a quick 3 and out. Washington didn't have to use a timeout. They have the 2-minute warning coming up. An opportunity just sitting out in front of them here in Philadelphia.
Well, they wanted to come out, take time off the clock. They run the ball the first 2 downs. They don't get anything out of it. And then it puts pressure on your passing game to be able to pick up the first down there on 3rd and long. And a great job by Jim Haslett and that group.
Good punt by Donnie Jones. Sends Andre Roberts back. A juggle, he hangs on. Roberts to the sideline, out of bounds near the 35. We regret to inform some of you that because of NFL television rules and the guidelines, we're going to have to take some of you to other action before this game is over, it appears at this point. But if you started with us, I'm going to bet that you're going to stay with us. And why not? 3-point game, and Kirk Cousins about to find out where the ball is going to be placed.
Holding. Kicking team number 16. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 4th down.
So they're going to make him re-kick as Brad Smith, former quarterback at Missouri, right there, is guilty of a hold. Well, before Kirk Cousins comes back out, he's thrown for 427 yards, and this is 5th NFL start. Washington's passing record for a game is Brad Johnson with 471. So he's knocking on that door. As you look at the game summary, the 2 quarterbacks have been outstanding. DeSean Jackson in his return to Philadelphia now with Washington. Big 81-yarder for a game-tying touchdown earlier in the second half.
And even that one interception for Kirk Cousins, as I said, Joe, I don't think it was a bad decision. It was a miscommunication. Great play by Malcolm Jenkins.
Poor punt by Jones. And it checks backward. And will be out of bounds near the 40 or 41-yard line, which is where the Redskins will have it as they trail by 3. And that was a big hold. It was just a 31-yard punt. And they mark it at the 41-yard line. Here's the missed field goal earlier in this second half by Kai Forbath. That was a 33-yard try. He's been bothered by a bad groin, and even on the extra point didn't look that solid kicking it. But he's getting ready with 2:27 left.
Well, Bill Davis, the defensive coordinator for the Eagles, he's got to be real careful. You start trying to keep them from getting into field goal range, and you play aggressively, you give up a big play, and instead of potentially giving up 3, you give up 7.
Here's Morris, left side. Cox made the play. Fletcher Cox, who's been playing so well, first-round pick out of Mississippi State in 2012.
Great penetration there by Fletcher Cox, and that's the way you've got to do it if you're going to be able to play this zone stretch game that the Eagles, or excuse me, that the Redskins like to run.
We're at the 2-minute warning. What a game. Week 3, NFC East. Eagles, Redskins, 3-point game. 2 minutes to go. Before the punt by Philadelphia outside of the 2-minute warning, there was a hold on Brad Smith out on the edge. The Redskins took the penalty. Washington would have started at their own 34. The penalty backed up Philadelphia. A poor punt. The drive starts at the Eagles 41. Second down and 11. Cousins throws for DeSean Jackson, incomplete with Boykin on him. A big third down coming up for Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, an interesting play there. They're trying to just pick up some yardage. They had thrown that pass a few times early in this game with a lot of success, soft coverage. That time Kirk Cousins really had nowhere to go with it. He just had to throw it away.
In case you're wondering, for Kai Forbath, his career long 50 yards, that would mean getting to the 32. They're at the 41. Third and long. A stunt up front defensively for Philadelphia. Broken up. Boykin. Intended for Roberts. And Boykin made the play, and that's going to bring up 4th down. What a close by Brandon Boykin.
Yeah, you can tell. I mean, look how far off he was, and for him to be able to close the gap, he's protecting the inside, does not want Roberts to beat him inside. They have the out route, and that's great makeup speed by Brandon Boykin. Both these defenses, the Redskins defensively do a great job. Their last time out, force a 3-and-out. Give the ball to the Redskins with great field position, and Washington has been unable to do anything with it. And now they're faced with a 4th down.
4th down and 10. Stay here. Washington uses a timeout as it all comes down to this snap and what happens after it. Cousins 427 yards in his 5th NFL start. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Nick Foles has thrown for 306 with 3 touchdowns. Been a great game. 37-34. 4th and 10.
Middle of the field right now is open, Joe.
Cousins throws behind the receiver. Philadelphia will take over. Garcon the intended target, and Cousins missed him.
We just have not seen that from Kirk Cousins. He's thrown so many good balls that I don't know if he was confused by Pierre Garcon's route, but he gets open. Garcon is there's 2-on-1, and you see Williams there, Kerry Williams, he goes down, he slips, but I don't know if Kirk Cousins was expecting Garcon to stay outside or not, but they had an opportunity had they have been on the same page, or if that ball doesn't get away from Kirk Cousins. Great job by Philadelphia, not giving up anything there with amazing field position for Washington and an opportunity to at least tie this ball game up.
They'll keep it on the ground. They do so with McCoy. Timeout taken by Washington with 1:43 left. They have 1 remaining. Next week's schedule is a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader and some really good games, which will involve a team that looks to start 3-0, the Philadelphia Eagles, out in California. Santa Clara taking on the 49ers. Packers and Bears early. Lions and Jets. Buccaneers and Steelers. Falcons and Vikings will start late as well. And that all begins with the Fox NFL kickoff show at 11 a.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1, followed by Fox NFL Sunday at noon Eastern right here. Second down and 11. Foles looking for a safe throw, and he completes it for the first down. Pass is caught by Casey, and that will put an end to this ball game as the clock will continue to wind. Washington only 1 timeout remaining, and Chip Kelly went for the end of the game, and he just found it.
Look at the ball placement right there by Nick Foles. Now, he puts the ball on him perfectly, and you remember the last possession that the Eagles had it. They ran it on first down and second down, and they were faced with 3rd and 10, couldn't convert. This time Chip Kelly, 2nd and long, he dials up the pass, and Nick Foles delivers a strike, and the Eagles get out of here with a 3-0 record.
Washington will slip to 1-2. Washington will host the Giants on Thursday night. As we mentioned, Philadelphia will head out to take on the 49ers. For the Eagles, now the first team in NFL history to win their first 3 games of the season after trailing by 10 or more points in each game. It had been heavy action in the second half the first 2 weeks. Coming off a Monday night win in Indianapolis, they're going to get a home win here. They had a 1-point lead at the half, and they're going to win it by 3. So with that, we look at the standings in the NFC East as Chip Kelly heads to midfield to meet Jay Gruden. The 3-0 Eagles leading the Cowboys, who hung on in St. Louis. Washington slips to 1-2, and the Giants winners today. They're 1-2. Coming up next, it's the State Farm post-game show from Philadelphia as the Eagles win it by 3. Back after this.